You've waited all year, and now it's time. The largest event purse in United Kennel Club history. The field is whittled down from over 1,300 qualifiers. 96 of the best advance to the finals and take their shot at the $250,000 total purse. It's the United Kennel Club's Tournament of Champions. Who will go home with $50,000? Let's make history. It's time. Are you ready?
Welcome to the 2024 United Kennel Club Tournament of Champions, the final round. I'm your host, Jamie Estep, and we're here in Greencastle, Indiana. Now, earlier this morning, you met and we talked you through the 6 finalists going into the head-to-head round in round 3. And just in a few minutes, we will introduce to you the final cast tonight. Now, I just want to remind you just a quick few minutes. We started out with 850 dogs participating in the regionals, 6 regions across the U.S. 94 dogs checked in on Thursday and participated, and then took us down to the round 2 of 24 dogs, and then round 3 was the heads up 6 dogs, and again brings us to our final 3 dogs tonight. Who will be the big winner? Who will take home the $50,000 prize? We want you to sit back. We want you to relax, and we're going to talk you through this evening, bring you all the exciting news, and we're about to meet your final 3 handlers, and one of these handlers will be the 2024 United Kennel Club Tournament of Champions winner. We'll be right back.
The United Kennel Club's Tournament of Champions is brought to you by our official performance dog nutrition partner, UKC. Fuel up, train hard, get after it. And by our official GPS collar partner, Dogtra. Make every dog exceptional.
And welcome back with you tonight. We are here in Greencastle, Indiana at the 2024 UKC Tournament of Champions. The final night, the 3 are ready. They possibly are headed to the woods now, and we're excited that you are here with us. I'm joined as well tonight with Steve Burkholder and Rick Stretch. How are you guys doing today, and are you ready for this journey?
I'm kind of excited about it, to be honest with you.
You look it. I can see it all over.
I'm feeling it.
You have a glow. You have a glow today.
I do.
You do. Mr. Steve, what do you think?
We're excited. Got to meet a lot of these guys today and spend some time with them tonight, and I know they're ready, and we're certainly ready to follow along and crown another champion for sure.
All right, just to remind you, I'm Jamie Estep, but we'll be with you tonight, and we're really glad that you are joining us from wherever you may be. Buckle in and get ready, and let's have a great night. Now, just to kind of bring you up, we're also tonight going to be getting live updates from the field. Trevor Wade is out in the field with the guys tonight, and then we'll also be going to Alan Gingrich tonight for some updates and score updates and some things as they come back in on our reports back. So we've got some guys helping us tonight to make it more enjoyable for you. Now, before we get into the night, we want to take time to mention how proud we are to have 2 outstanding sponsors at the United Kennel Club. Our 2 official sponsors, the first one we'd like to mention is UKC. UKC is our official performance dog nutrition partner, and a great opportunity there. We also want to mention our official GPS collar partner, Dogtra. Now, with Dogtra, I had the opportunity to sit down with Nicholas Jensen yesterday, our Pathfinder specialist, and we had a great conversation. I really enjoyed my time with him and learned some insight on the Pathfinder GPS, and you're going to enjoy this. You're going to see some cool features about it. So why don't you take a look at this and enjoy this time in this sit down with Nicholas Jensen. Welcome. I am Jamie Estep, and I'm joined today with Nicholas Jensen with Dogtra. Nicholas is a Pathfinders specialist with Dogtra, and we're excited to have him today and learn some things about our official sponsor, Dogtra. Nicholas, take off from here and tell us what you got today.
Absolutely, Jamie. So one of the biggest things I want to touch on is, and actually just right now, we have over 30 qualifiers that are out here competing this weekend. So again, to all our Dogtra competition field staff, good luck and way to go, guys.
All right.
First couple things I want to touch on is going to be recorded hunts. This is an amazing feature that I think anybody, competitor or anybody who uses Pathfinder 2 should really take advantage of. This again gives us the ability to record our sessions and then replay, download and replay later for review. Again, exceptional if you're trying to improve on your dog's times. Next thing, of course, is going to be offline maps. This is a big, important feature if you're going anywhere with an unreliable cell phone signal or just any signal in general. You can download your maps and get ready to go for off-the-grid fun. Lastly, of course, is going to be your alerts and notifications. This provides alerts and notifications if the dog's running, training, or on point.
That's awesome. Now, we have some questions here. A couple of them I'm interested in myself. You and I have talked a little bit here. So let's kind of jump in here and see if we can answer some questions for our viewers here today. Can you provide me some insights on how a competitor, a hunter, participant can use the Pathfinder 2 GPS tracking system to help them better prepare to compete in a major event like this for $50,000?
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. This is a great feature, and again, any hunter or competitor should definitely take advantage of it, especially when we're going out in areas with unreliable signal. Again, they won't have to run into this with a quick little setup before you leave your house. Again, once you have the app downloaded, you download your maps with a good cell service or good Wi-Fi. Once you got that going, the unit is ready to go off the grid. You head off the grid, of course, with Bluetooth and GPS satellites. The system operates independently of cell service and Wi-Fi at that point. And again, I just want to emphasize this is a great way to really head off the grid for offline use, offline maps, and offline reliability.
So when you download that map of that area that you're going to be out of service, that map stays there.
That map is there on the phone, and also it's unlimited downloads. So if you didn't download the right area or you didn't get the area that you wanted, you can go ahead and download again. If you go to another location, you could download again. It's unlimited downloads.
That's cool. That's very, very cool. Some of the interesting features that you would know about that maybe I, as a individual person that maybe not be the most knowledgeable concerning Dogtra. We know the offline maps. We hear a lot of people talk about that. I can say that would be very, very handy. But can you break down other features that might be beneficial to a hunter and how that it can benefit as well?
Absolutely. So again, this Pathfinder system is utilized by competitors and hunters and everybody alike. And one of the biggest things that I think is really a good touching point on is the price point. Again, it's $429.99 to get started with a complete GPS track and training system. Second off, app's completely free. The maps are free. It's provided by Mapbox, which is the same service that Onyx uses. It's a fantastic service with unlimited downloads, again, free with the system. This is a win-win for anybody just getting started.
Now, when you say $429 for track and train, that means the ability to track and the ability to tone or control.
Correct, sir.
That's what
Absolutely,
you're talking. I thought
yeah.
that's what. Just wanted to clarify that for our folks that are our hunters that are watching.
Yes, sir.
I know we have a lot of competition hunters that are watching us today, but there's also a lot of what we would call pleasure hunters, that people that don't participate, that they do our sport, they enjoy it, and it's their passion still yet. What are some things that they could use this for as well? Because we know the offline maps would benefit them, the tracking and training, but what are some other things that can be done?
Absolutely, Jamie. Great question. On that note, we have a full library of Dogtra tutorials on Dogtra YouTube for you guys to watch. So if you guys have any questions about any features that are going on, that's a great source of information, such as being able to set up your function button on your connector for correction on the fly. But I'm going to touch on a couple of my favorite key points that I think are really good. First of all is going to be sharing location. I can actually share my location with another hunting buddy to where I can see where his dogs are on my map and he can see where my dogs are on his map. As long as we're both Pathfinder 2 users, they will both communicate. Next is going to be smartwatch capability. This was a game changer when it absolutely came out. The ability to look at your watch, see where your dog is, what your dog's doing, notifications as well, and then be able to provide correction and compass just from the watch is absolutely phenomenal. Lastly, of course, is going to be the offline reliability. This is the #1 question I think I get asked most in our business, is essentially, how do I get off the grid with no cell service, no Wi-Fi, and still be able to rely and count on this system to work for me? Now, a lot of it just comes from GPS satellites and Bluetooth technology. Once you've downloaded your information, you're able to go off the grid for fun, live tracking of the dog, and just be able to, take care of it, what you need to.
Yeah. Now, for me, I'm going to just say that the tutorials is for folks like me that you would be like, oh, help me. They're very beneficial. They're able to learn. And do you see a lot of people taking part in that?
Absolutely. A majority of the user tutorials that we've made are actually from user questions yourself. So essentially, how do I download my offline maps? How do I set up for offline use? We have all those videos that are in there as well. Also, how to be able to do geofence and all that good stuff to be able to set it up.
Now, what are you talking about geofence? I think I know, but I want to ask that.
So geofence is the ability, so like hunters, for example, we want to keep our dogs within a certain range and be able to be notified if the dogs start getting close to those boundaries. So geofence is just a digital perimeter that provides notifications.
Really? So it's just something to use right around your house?
Around your house, or if you're hunting somewhere near private or public land and you want to be able to keep your dogs where you're at, you can contain them within an area and actually be notified that the dogs are getting close to that boundary.
Wow, that's a cool feature. Now, when you said we could share, this system also could be used not as a tracking system. It could be a basic GPS system as well.
Well, yeah, so it's a GPS track and training system. Of course, with UKC or anything like that, a lot of our gentlemen will have the TRX version, which is going to be the tracking only collar.
Yes.
So it has no ability for output of stimulation. So in that sense, yes, it is purely a GPS system. But in the conjunction of buying a complete Pathfinder 2 system with correction, you can do GPS track and training, again, either from the phone, the watch, or from the connector function button itself.
Okay. That's interesting, because I was thinking if I could get my buddy to do one and me do one, I could find all of his deer stands if I know where he's marking them.
You can actually drop points of interest on our app to be able to mark such things as like your buddy's
That's
hunting.
what my thinking is. So I thought that's a cool idea there. So that's interesting. One of the other things that I hear a lot of people talk about is the very clear maps. Can you speak to that? What do people see when they're looking on their phones? And then another follow-up question is how does your phone hold up to the app on the charge?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that goes into it is, of course, touching on the first part, is it holding up. How does it hold up on the charge? Again, being mobile-based, you can lower your screen brightness. There's several things that we can always do to kind of utilize and make the most out of our battery. Background app refreshes. Do we need to have our mail giving us notifications all the time? Do we need to have Facebook notifications all the time? So disabling some of those features will make good use of the battery life of the phone. Also, you don't necessarily have to have a phone with an active cell subscription. So we can use an older phone that's tucked in a drawer as long as it's able to download and connect to the Google Play or App Store. You can download whatever information you want and be able to operate the system off an older phone. Trust me, I understand about taking an iPhone 13 out in the middle of nowhere. That's always a fun one.
Okay, so that's something that I hear a lot of times people ask, and was just wondering. Is there anything else that you would, as a specialist that knows this system, prepared this system, works on this system, sells this system, services this system, helps folks with this system, is there anything else that you would want the viewers to know that would, if they're sitting here and they're having questions, do I buy this product, do I not?
Yeah.
What would be something that you would say to them that would be a selling feature that is a must that you have learned over and I think you told me off camera, 5 years been doing this.
5 years. 5 years been
absolutely.
Doing it. It's been a blast.
So what would be something maybe that would make me go buy a product?
Absolutely. So again, touching on offline reliability, once we download our information and everything we need, we do not need cell service or Wi-Fi to operate. Just need a good clear line to the sky, and then you got all the GPS you need. The system then operates or communicates via Bluetooth at that point. So again, that was one of the biggest concerns that I've ever heard from anybody is, what do I do if I don't have cell signal? Just at your hotel or before you head out, just download your app and download your maps and you're good to go.
So the download typically doesn't take long if you have good service.
Download doesn't take long at all. And then outside of that is going to be, of course, going to be the unlimited downloads for the maps. Again, no subscription fee, no mapping software you have to pay for. It's all included, again, free with the app. And again, the last thing I always touch on is going to be the price point.
Yeah.
$429.99 gets you everything you need out the door, including fantastic app, amazing maps, and everything you need to get going.
Well, I can tell you from my standpoint, I just want to say thank you for being here and for Dogtra partnering with UKC and being a sponsor, and from a houndsman that helps us take care of what we enjoy and love to do in hunting our dogs. I truly appreciate the effort in that, and just thank you so much for doing that, and we just appreciate it. And so we hope you have a great day, and again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie. It was an absolute pleasure.
All right, you too. We'll be right back.
Clayton Stark here, getting ready to take the dogs to the woods tonight using the Dogtra Pathfinder 2 GPS tracking system.
Did you know that your monthly subscription to Coonhound Bloodlines comes packed with upcoming UKC event information, official UKC event results, and articles of interest about coon hunting? It sure does. Read about the top competition hunters and hounds, as well as stories about pleasure hunting and bench show hounds. Subscribe today or renew online at shop.ukcdogs.com. Check out the United Kennel Club online store for all of our magazine subscriptions and UKC merchandise. Go to shop.ukcdogs.com and you'll find all the best gear to support your UKC lifestyle. Snag a new hat, hoodie, or t-shirt and subscribe to our many publications, including our world-leading Coonhound publication, Coonhound Bloodlines. We even have research pedigrees and rule books available to purchase. Why wait? Shop now.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
All right, welcome back to our 2024 UKC Tournament of Champions live show. Again, we're here in Greencastle, Indiana. I'm Jamie Eastep. I'll be your host tonight, along with Steve Burkholder and Rick Stretch. To quickly give you an update, we know the cast has left or traveling to the woods, not a great distance, and we're going to get you out into the field just as quickly as we can so that you can see what's going on out there, and got some exciting footage for you to view just like you're there with them. But before we get out there, we wanted to take just a few minutes and introduce to you the three hounds and the three hunters that is out there tonight competing for $50,000 first place prize. And so, guys, I'm just going to quite quickly hit these tonight. The first dog that you're going to meet out there, first dog on the card, I should say, is Night Champion Freak of Nature, owner Walter Hickman, in Georgetown, Tennessee, and handled by Josh Craig. This is a 3-year-old Trend Walker male. A second dog is Maxed Out Mad Money. It's a 3-year-old Trend Walker male as well. He's owned by Travis Black and handled by Dustin Weed. And then our third dog is Night Champion Heather Island Wipeout Z. He's a Trend Walker male as well. He's a 6-year-old dog, and he's handled by owned by Ike Rainey and Malcolm Raines, and handled by Oliver Wynn. Guys, we're going to meet these dogs just in a moment, and we'll kind of break down their pedigrees and things of that at a little bit later time. But you guys have some scorecards here. We've talked to these guys. We've seen these dogs. There's a lot of things floating around about them. What do you guys think? We talked a lot about last night about the age, and now we're seeing 2 3-year-olds and a 6-year-old out there competing tonight. And so what do you think's going through these handlers' heads as they're making that about that 15-minute ride? What do you think's going through their heads right now?
Well, I'd say they're a little bit nervous. You know, I think that nerves are playing hard on them right now, and probably until the first dog opens.
Okay.
And somebody strikes the first dog, then the nerves will start calming down a little bit. But right now they are pumped up. I mean, imagine getting last place in this cast and winning a check for $20,000. Nobody's a loser.
That's
in
kind
this
of
check.
what they pay you to do this, right?
Well, that's true, but that
wasn't
public knowledge. But
okay, sorry.
So maybe we cut that out. But yeah, imagine getting last place, Steve, and winning 20 grand, and it's phenomenal.
Especially thinking back just a few years ago, first place paid $4,000 at what our premier hunts was. You know, some of the premier hunts was then, and now now a dog can have an off night or whatever, and still get $20,000 is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the gap between, but also it's a fairly large gap between 20,000 and 50,000 being first place. So,
Sure.
This cast could very easily, judging by how things went the last couple nights, this cast could really come down to walking to the last tree, and the difference could be $30,000.
Yeah. We seen that last night. There were several casts that it did really come down to that last tree. If this dog has a coon, if this dog's got one sitting on the outside, there's a lot of variables. Now tonight is actually probably going to be weather-wise probably the best night we have had. Now but we've seen a temperature switch as well, so it's a warm night tonight. So that could play into some coon movement as well.
I followed Steve back to the motel this evening, and I think I looked at the radio there, and it was 7 o'clock, and I noticed Steve was kind of slowing down up there, and I knew he had seen something out on one side of the road or the other, and I looked out to the right there, and sure enough, about 30 yards off the road, there's a full-grown coon out there feeding in a wheat field.
Now, did y'all guys come up River Road?
River Road, yep, River Road.
Now, see, I don't know if we're going to go there. I know we'll be going there later, but the guides for tonight is Garrett, Keith, and Jared Hutchinson. And if you're coming out River Road, the bridge that is out there, the cast is only going to be hunting. If that bridge was open, they're only going to be about 5 miles or about 5 minutes past that bridge.
Oh,
if they could take a right.
Okay.
So they got to go all the way around.
They got to go all the way around. That takes it about 15 minutes.
That.
But if you could go through that bridge, these guys guided me a few years back when Redbone Days was at Brazil. Jared guided me over there. They're really going to be in some really good hunting there. So it's kind of interesting, right close to where they're going to be hunting. The coon was already on the ground.
This was a full-grown, healthy coon, and he was out feeding out in the wheat field there, worms or whatever else. But
the good thing is they're going to get started right at dark. We've seen it before. Coons feed at different times, and there's a possibility. We've seen them early in the evening like that, and then go out an hour after day or dark, or 45 minutes, an hour after dark, and it can be struggle sometimes in them conditions because they fed early and maybe set up. But I don't see that being the case tonight. I really don't. I mean, we could be wrong.
The place, I went back this morning and just kind of talking about the place to hunt. I think it's going to play into how the cast plays out. And before we go there, we're going to get into our pick'ems here because I know Rick's needing to make a statement here on his pick'em. He does so well at that. But you want to go ahead and make your statement?
Well, out of respect, I'm just going to let you guys pick tonight. And honestly, I was told today not to pick any one of the three by the handlers and owners out there that were there, simply for the fact I don't know where they're getting their information or what's happening here, but they feel like maybe I might jinx them. And a couple of them looked at me pretty stern in the face there and flat out told me not to be picking their dogs. So I respect that, and out of fear, I'm not going to make any predictions tonight.
All right.
I might shake my head yes now and then or something like that, but I'm not going to come right out.
So the
in
first
public.
time, you're just going to keep your mouth shut?
Well, I think I need to be honest with you.
You know, I mean, you know, you were there and you felt the pressure of it.
The pressure was there, out there, and the pressure's still here. So I'm not going to make any.
You're not going to do that.
No.
Well, Steve, do you want to go ahead and do that since you were the man last night? I mean,
well, I just judge. I mean, it's hard for me to go. I mean, when we come into this hunt Thursday night, I think I told some of you guys that I thought the three dogs that I felt if they stayed away from each other could be in this final three. And the Z dog was one of them. And I just think for me, it's hard to go against him. The dog's obviously the winningest dog ever. And one of the titles that he has eluded him is the TOC title. And, that's going to be my pick for tonight.
Okay.
I think Z is going to be your winner tonight when it's all said and done.
I'm going to go, and what I was saying just a moment ago about the terrain, at least where the places that I've hunted there in the cast with Jared, is it is hilly, that's Greencastle. There are opportunities to get up where you can hear these dogs. I think that's going to be important because we know Z and Mad Money. We've heard from everybody. They really roll. We know that. So I think that's going to be important. I'm going to go with Mad Money because it seems to tend that he got his mouth open fast and got on the high end of the strike. At least for a couple casts last night, we were seeing Z was coming in late, and you guys said that was untypical of him, so that might even totally change tonight. But I'm going to go Mad Money. So you want to write that down, who you would pick? And
I really don't want to be
quiet.
involved in it at all. If that's all right with you.
I wouldn't dare tell anybody who you picked.
No,
I will tell you this: we know who Rick picked to win this thing. We just can't make public knowledge of it. So,
I mean,
maybe if the dude does win it, maybe I can say that I picked it after the hunt or whatever else. But
that's the best.
For now, we'll just go with 2 picks.
Go with 2 picks right now.
Yeah, that's going to work just fine.
Okay. They really scared you, didn't they?
Let's move on to the next segment.
Well, we're waiting. We're waiting on the cast to get there. We know they're probably getting there fairly quick. And so let's talk about some of the cast. You have some cards here, Rick. Take us on a little journey back through the night here.
We may have lost some of the viewership last night as late as we got going there, and then as late as we ended it. We may have lost a handful of the viewers or something like that. But what I noticed this evening looking at these scorecards is each one of these 3 dogs only scored on 1 coon to win their cast last night. And
in the late round.
In the late round. To get to this cast here, they only scored on 1 raccoon each. And that I don't think any of us would have predicted that. I think we would have thought that maybe 1 or 2 of them would have scored on more than 1. But it was kind of unique to me that I see here that they each scored on 1. And it was kind of a testament to the fact that we feel like that maybe the coons weren't moving as good late round as they were earlier and on Thursday night.
I do know that a couple of the dogs that lost, I do believe, you can look at the card, but I do believe maybe have scored on a couple of them, but they had dug themselves a hole.
Yeah.
On this time of the year it can happen. I mean, they on pulling maybe making an empty tree, pulling some minus kind of thing. So again, I think we talked about it all weekend. We talk about it at some of these big events, that the competition is so stiff that, man, if you make a mistake, Rick and Jamie, it's really hard to come back from that, or
especially if that head-to-head's round, because
100%.
they're so tight.
Well, you see that here on Cast 2, and I was a little surprised about how this finished last night, but you know your limits. These handlers know their limits with themselves and with their hounds, and they hunted a little over an hour and a minute, looks like to me, and this is the cast worth Mad Money. He had scored a coon with a 100 strike and 125 tree, and he was hunting against Buster Creek Hawk on my Wyatt Monin, a third time repeat attendee here, and he had drawn 125 minus on a tree, and with 29 minutes to go last night, Wyatt determined that there was no way for him and Hawk to win.
Well, I think at that point in time, you have to bat on trying to tree a coon and try to take a dog like Mad Money and have him make a mistake. I know in the other two casts, looking at him and following along on him, I believe the losers of both them casts had scored multiple coons.
I know Polly on the cast. She treed 2 coons.
But treat a blank right out of the truck. Yeah, right out of the truck there.
I know the Polly cast Freak was treed behind them and had been set treat for quite some time. But Polly, and this is important in the cast, Polly was kept pushing the cast away because she was treeing coons going away. And that could play into tonight. If dogs get separated and a dog is close treeing coons, can take a dog out of contention.
Yep.
The minus definitely played a part last night. I mean, and we discussed it before they went out there. You don't want to start in the hole.
Yeah.
In a 2-dog cast, a heads-up cast, you don't want to start in the hole. Now, if we were out there hunting 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that, then most of them would tag along and try to make it back. But 90-minute cast, it's kind of conditions weren't as prime as they were the early round, and not as prime for sure as they were on Thursday. Just wouldn't work out for them probably.
We've seen it happen before. I think just a few years ago, the Piper dog was heads up.
Yeah.
And had made an empty and come back. Yeah. Obviously, like Jamie talked about, the poly female had made an empty, treated a couple of coons, and had a chance there.
Had a shot right there at the end.
But obviously didn't work out. But it certainly tonight. I think these dogs will be spread out. I don't foresee any of them being together.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be a lot of walking done. And so I think, with that being said, I just think it cuts your opportunities down to score multiple trees per dog. You know, I think that probably more than likely, if all these dogs get a chance to be handled off of 2 trees, I think really and honestly, I think the handlers going in tonight, in their mindset, they'd have to think that if I can get mine on the card twice,
yep,
and be plus both times, I got a good shot at winning this thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So you speak of going to multiple trees far off. We've got an athlete out there tonight that's judging them, and that Tyler Pettit. And I've known Tyler for a long time, and he's judged me, and we've competed against each other a few times, and they have picked one of their best of the group to judge this final cast tonight, and the terrain won't slow him down any. Right. We've got some young folks out there. You got Dustin, and Oliver's not that much older, and then Josh. He's handling Freak. None of those guys are of age, but they've got their hands full keeping up with Tyler tonight. So, yeah, I just got handed here this list of. We got time for this?
Yeah, I think if not, we can come back to it. So just share with the folks what we're talking about here, people that help make this possible.
Yeah, it's guides and judges.
That's right.
Guides and judges make it possible. I mean, that's why we're at this club instead of some other club, And we've got a list of names of all the judges that judged all weekend. And the final cast judged tonight, Tyler Pettit. He is going to be assisted by Steve Cromer. And then for whatever reason, they got Drew out there doing something tonight. I don't know if he's carrying their lunch or what's going on there. But they've got Drew Estep out there, and I'm sure he's probably keeping score or maybe going to do a little bit of radioing back to us or something. But this week we utilized, I got to put my glasses on for some of this fine print.
All right, they're going to bring, in just in a second, guys, just let everybody know what's going to happen. We're going to see, here we go.
Here they are.
They're actually going over, that's Tyler. He's standing there in the striped shirt.
Yeah, the black jacket there.
That's Drew right there. Drew must be carrying the card.
Look at all that stuff he's got on him, wrapped around him there. What is all that?
I don't know.
What is that nonsense?
You have to ask him.
Yeah.
He takes after his mom.
2 scorecards. There's Doug Cundiff
running his mouth.
Yeah. Doug does a tremendous amount of work putting this hunt on, and our appreciation out to him.
This is, you seen there in the back, that was Keith Hutchinson, Jared. their son. They're the 3 guides. I was told today they're parking right at Jared.
So is that father, son, grandson?
That's right. Father,
That's
son,
awesome.
grandson.
That's awesome. Steve Cromer's, he's from South Carolina, I believe. I think he drove all the way in here from South Carolina, is that from my understanding?
Yes, he's from South Carolina. I didn't see the handler.
Now
I think that's Mad Money
right there.
Yeah, it's Mad Money.
I believe, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure
think
that's
so.
Mad Money. Yeah.
If they would go up, I'm pretty sure that's Mad Money.
So you're looking at it there, we've started seeing that there where they've got 2 trackers on them. You know, in case one of them goes dead, the other one's going to work, or do they have 2 different systems
well,
there?
I think for me, I use multiple systems. I started doing that in the end. Sometimes certain systems work better if a dog gets in a culvert or a cow or something like that. You know.
Look how cool Bill Murphy is back there, leaned up against the car. Look at him.
He's not used to being a backup, but he's done a good job. It's a team effort.
He's protecting that truck well.
It's a team effort. I mean, it takes a lot of folks to do what these guys are doing.
I was worried that Drew forgot his boots. I'm glad to see he's got them on.
I'm sure he forgot something. I swear to that boy. He tries hard, but boy. Yeah.
It's amazing.
A little bit early out there, still a little dusk.
Who we got here?
I would say
That's
Z
that
right
Z
there.
there. Mm-hmm.
Now, guys, that right there is that's winning us.
Yeah.
Hound in history right there.
Yeah.
He's winning us, Hound in history.
He's cool and collected. He's ready.
I mean, imagine this. This dog right here is one right at $400,000.
Well,
incredible.
that's in one registry.
No, that's, I think, total.
Was it total?
Yeah, the total, I think, is what they had shared with me, or close to it. I don't know the exact number, but it's close to it.
He's looking around, saying, which way do I want to go?
He's scouting it out. It's incredible.
This is Oliver Wynn, his handler.
And I believe Oliver's from Florida. He actually lives down there, probably about 45 minutes from where we're at in Ocala, Florida.
Yeah, I was talking to him yesterday. I think he works for NASA. He works at the Space Center.
Yeah, that's about 45 minutes from us,
Did you tell him you were a rocket scientist while you were he was telling you that?
No. I majored for 1 semester in that and jumped around.
Hey, you look at a hound like that, just the athleticism. It's hard for one to imagine the talent that
look at these
dogs
two
are.
coordinating their watches.
Wasn't Josh your cast winner last night in the late round? I said that was a 30-minute cast. He got back at 7 a.m.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they wouldn't let us
You hear him say that. 30-minute cast, he got back at 7 a.m. Oh my God.
Now, this is that money? Bad money.
Mad Money.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen.
Did they forget the other 2 reps, or is Philip and Brandon asleep in the truck? He's a pretty joker.
One thing just as a note here, this was always the toughest part for me, standing there.
Yeah,
But I'm impressed with these dogs, just how calm they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of them are jerking.
Well, they're respectful. I mean, look at them. They're just waiting on their owner to give them the cue, or their handler to give them the cue, and they'll dash off. Their tails will be up, but it's still plenty light there in the background there. I don't know if they what might be going on there, but anyway, it might be a good time to while we're focused on this, I'll read off this list of folks that helped put the hunt on that deserve some credit here. We got Aaron Gray. He judged a total of 3 rounds. Brian Smith judged a total of 3 rounds. Drew Estep, Eric Bowling, Kyle Oakes, Steve Cromer, Tim Bolden, Tyler Pettit. All of those guys judged 3 rounds this weekend, and appreciative of that. 2 rounders, we went to Chase Blevins and Keegan Bays, Mark Vandeventer, Troy Sawyers. Those were 2 round judges, and we need those guys just as well. We need the guys that judged 1 round, which was Andy Canada, Chris Girth, Connor Lucas, Dakota Scott, Dean Daughtry, Derek Bryan, Dickie McKeever, Dustin Brummett, Jared Lehman, Jeff Murphy, Lane Estep, Matt Lingo, and Tom Lynch. So, a list of well-known folks on there that come down here and helped us put this hunt on. And we got to appreciate them.
You have to, and I want to mention something. If we have viewers that maybe not are familiar with what they're seeing, what they're understanding, if you were beginning to watch the view, you begin to hear me talk about one of our partners that with UKC, and that is their Doctra. They're our official GPS collar partner. And a lot these guys, if you're sitting here not understanding what you're seeing, the multiple collars on this dog, you guys mentioned it, okay? So kind of walk a person through. We had the gear video last night, but walk a person through what these telemetry collars and Doctra, what we see, they're part of, what the purpose of these and what they are.
Well, it's what they do is these collars are linked in with either via your phone or a device that you have with you, and you can actually it has a train downloaded. All these guys have this train downloaded, so they're going to be able to see where these hounds are at, regardless if they're along the edge of a creek, if they're going toward a road, if they're in the hills. I mean, it's really pretty amazing because a lot of this has a train as far as elevation and everything in it, so they know if they're kind of over a ridge or down in a holler, kind of a thing. So it's really pretty amazing.
Right here, Tyler is checking for prongs, checking for making sure there's no way to stimulate, control, train the dog.
So these are just tracking. By the rules, they're only allowed to use a tracking device.
Now, right here is the first time we have seen. This is Freak right here, and handler Josh Craig. And again, when it comes to it, Tyler's checking collars, checking
the first tracking collar I ever saw would have been in 1979 or 1980. And we've all watched these wildlife shows where they catch a bear and want to track its movements, catch a mountain lion or something like that. For years we watched that, but in 1979, 1980, a coon hunter decided, hey, it's time for me to start tracking my hounds. And that's when we first saw these things come about. And here we are in 2024, you know, the improvements that have been made on them, it's just phenomenal.
Here we go. Actually might be getting ready to hear the last words, and we're starting to make movement to turn. So the final cast, buddy, is getting ready to go.
Ready to go to compete for $100,000.
I know handling and walking up to turn loose, it's the nervousness until that first dog barks.
That was always for me. I mean,
when that dog barks, you kind of get into business.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's yours or somebody else's. Yeah.
All right, folks, just enjoy this and hang tight with us.
That's probably the third generation in the front up there, huh?
Yeah. His name's Garrett. I judged him several years back when he was just in the young division at the PKC Youth World.
Got to be a thrill for him to be out there.
Mm-hmm. It was not a good night when I judged him. I found a possum. That's a tight fence right there.
Yeah, nice new fence.
The woods looks good, which I know this property, or some of this property, and it's really nice. And I don't think
Looks like it's got a few hills in it.
Let's get that where you're from.
I'll promise you, everything there has some fun.
Oh, my
I don't
gosh.
care how many times they've been
Yeah,
at this.
you know, like we said,
30 minutes already.
Dustin's all-time winner.
Yeah, so we walked 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you know, all three, Tyler, Steve, and Drew, you know, all of them judged it to daylight basically last night as well.
Here we go. Here we go. Must be cutting close to some cattle.
Boy, Mike's doing a good job of showing us the hounds, that's for sure. Yeah.
We should be getting ready to turn loose here shortly. Wood looks really good there.
I think what we're seeing here, probably if what we do see here, it's in and out a little bit, is that the fact that the guide has determined that, hey, there's a certain spot in this area that if we start there, the likability of the hounds go in the right direction into where they want to hunt, and that's what I'm seeing here is we've walked a pretty good ways from the road, you know, and they're going to try to get them in a spot there, maybe where the hills kind of funnel together, and the dogs would go down a hill and then up, you know, through up a creek or something like that. So that's why we're kind of seeing maybe why they're walking that far. Typically, you pull up, you walk a few yards and cut them, but for an event like this, and we want to try to be able to judge them as good as we can. That's probably what we're seeing is
And
that the guys will determine this.
Yeah, and talking to them today.
Nope, there they go.
So they're loose at about 9:15. We'll see how quick the business picks up. They also had to walk some today for this because it's wet. Because when I talked to them today, they knew they was going to park near the homes and was going to have to walk in because of the fields being wet too.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure they were getting them in the right spot to. Because it looked like from what we could see, they were a little high there when they turned. So that's. So hopefully, folks, we'll be getting some updates to you, getting back out into the field, getting you some footage of events, things happening, trees, and we'll get to you just as quick as we can to get you live updates from the field. Let's take a little deeper look at each of these dogs. We want to break these dogs down, give them honor, and not only them, but their sires, their history. And let's talk about the first dog on the card is Freak of Nature. Do we have a do we want to show a do we have a video first? I think that we're going to show. All right, let's watch this. This video sets up these dogs beautifully. Let's go to the video.
From Kentucky, I'm Josh Craig. And my dog's a Freak of Nature. He's a pretty good dog. He's good about having coons and stuff. This last cast, he trees a coon right out of the truck, and the other boy trees a slick tree. Well, that put me like, 400 flip around there. he gets treed again and trees the whole cast. He was way out of hearing, you know, but that other boy's dog treed 2 coons and come back some, but I end up pulling it out, you know. But yeah, we've had some pretty tough casts. I've done a lot of walking, and I've won some hunts, and I did win Autumn Oaks once in '02. Been a long time ago, but I come last year, but I hunted a different dog and didn't do no good. Got beat the first round. But yeah, we win it. Be good for him, you know. Look good on his resume, yeah. Maybe we'll be able to afford to go some more hunts, won't we?
All right, so now that's Freak of Nature, handled by Josh Craig, owned by Walter Hickman. You guys have his pedigree, and so let's take a look at that and give the folks a little bit update on what we have. We know he's a 3-year-old Trend Walker male, and so I'll go to you guys and share with what we have.
We talked about it last night that Freak, he's out of Frogger Dog, a UKC World Champion, and that Frogger's out of Wipeout Spinal Tap, and his mother on the bottom side was probably a Schooner River bred female. We're looking at Creamer's Schooner River Chubby, and she was sired by Schooner River Rambler, and they probably went back to Schooner River Bark or something on that order. So I got to, I chatted with Josh briefly this evening, and I've known Josh for a while. Don't have any connections with him or anything like that, but we stepped out on the deck, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we both just started laughing. And I said, well, here you are. And he said, yeah, here we are. He said, probably nobody expected us to be here, but here we are. And I kind of laughed back, and I said, well, I bet you thought you might have a shot at this. And he didn't respond, but I'm sure he did. And we talked a little bit about that. And he got a phone call on the way up here. Scott England called him on Thursday, I believe it was, and he was headed up there. And Scott said, you want to know what he was doing? He said, I'm headed to the TOC Championship. And Scott said, well, go up there and win that thing. And they talked on there a little bit. And then Josh called Scott this morning, and he said, hey, I'm in this thing. And he said, I really believe Scott was kind of shocked by it. And we laughed out loud. But yeah, there's his pedigree right there. You can see what he's out of. And like we discussed last night, I forget how many pups Frogger had in this thing.
And actually, I did a little bit of research this morning on that because we knew we were expecting Freak to be in one of Frogger's early litters, and he was actually out of the 3rd litter of Frogger. So we were right on him being
early
litters, and so he was out of the third litter. And so I just wonder, you guys may know, and not taking away from Freak here, but I wonder how close the Wipeout Spinal Tap and with the Zeb dog, the Wipeout dog there.
From what I recall, I hunted with Wipeout Spinal Tap when Bobby Reynolds owned him. Yeah. We was actually working in Illinois. Real good dog. The dog, if I recall right, got sick or something for a while and that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure he was out of the original Zeb dog, if I remember. Not Zeb 3, the original Zeb dog. But the little Rosedale Flare female, I actually owned her as a young dog, hunted her 2 years at the Super Stakes, and then sold her to Birchall Davis. She had $1 million mouth on her. Fly around there, and I really enjoyed hunting her, but we was busy in doing concrete or whatever, so Birchall ended up buying her off me, and obviously Birchall owns the Frogger dog, and for those that know Birchall, he's just an incredible guy, and it's obviously having a lot of success with Frogger and Flair and them dogs.
So folks, we're getting ready to go to Alan Gingrich for our first update of some happenings in the field. Let's go there.
All right, folks, well, welcome and good evening. We have as you saw, the dogs have been cast. The official time that they were cast was 9:17 p.m. Tonight, the conditions are great. There's hardly any wind to speak of, clear skies, the low temperatures are in the low 60s. But all 3 dogs are struck in. We have Z struck in for 100, Out is struck in for 75, and Freak is struck in for 50. So again, Z first, Out second, and Freak is third. So that's where we are at the moment. So we're underway, and it's going to be an exciting night, we hope. So enjoy.
All right. So we see we're all struck. Now that's, did Z even get a first strike last night? I know his last.
Yeah, he had he had a first strike and a first tree circle, and then recast second strike and a first tree plus.
Okay. In the late round, yep.
Yeah,
all right.
Late round.
So
yeah.
now let's jump back and break down even more. Let's move to night champion, maxed out Mad Money, owned by Travis Black, handled by Dustin Weed. Guys, just tell us. And we're going to go to video. It's going to kind of give us a little update. You're going to meet the handler. You're going to meet the dog. So let's check out Maxed Out Mad Money.
Dustin Weed. I'm from Prairie, Mississippi. We call him Out, Maxed Out. It's a great setup. One of the nicest hunts I've ever been to. I like how y'all run stuff. Everything's good. We drew some good dogs, had some good casts. We get cut loose, we struck something, and they run it in the ground or something, then they kind of scattered out, and one dog got over on the highway, and we had to call timeout, so we had to get them collected up, and we got back over there, cut loose. I treated a coon for $225 and recut, and got treated in there again, and Hawk, he got treed in there with him, and he treated him. We got there close, and we could tell they got to breaking down, so I think they was in the ground, and the two caught Hawk, and then he withdrew. Mine blew out. I had to go catch him after the hunt. He's real good in nature. He's totally different when you cut him loose than he is around here, like just around the house and on a leash and stuff. He acts like he's well-mannered and everything, and then you unsnap him, it's like you unsnapped a different animal. He's hard hunting, moves around, does everything at 100%, whatever he's doing, good or bad. It's a lot of money, and everybody wants money just like I would love. It would help my family and everything, but it makes me more happy about seeing a dog win than the money right now, just because I've put a lot of work in this dog, and I ain't had the very best of luck with him. I get beat by him being out of pocket or something, just bad luck, and it make me more happy for the dog than anything.
All right, folks, there you have Dustin Weed handling night champion, maxed out Mad Money. We're going to talk a little bit, take a little deeper look into I think they call him Out, I guess. We're going to take a little deeper look into him. And so here we go. Steve and Rick, take away with it.
Well, I can tell you, I actually judged this dog's sire. I believe at the Super Stakes, maybe it was last year at the Super Stakes, and when Dustin shared there a little bit about keeping the dog in the pocket, his daddy was a little bit the same way. Yeah. He had wheels underneath him. He had $1 million motor and move around like one should. And obviously the dog's grandpa, Big Money, got to hunt with him once or twice in his tail end of his career. And he was a little larger dog and really made a big impact on a lot of dogs or whatever. So, and I know Rick, I know on the bottom side of this pedigree, you're probably a lot more familiar with what's on his bottom of his pedigree. But, certainly on his top side, it's really no surprise that the dog is doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a strong Bellerbred dog there on the bottom. I forget which sire that Fred was out of. He might have been out of Handsome Harry. I don't recall. Maybe some semen or something like that. But he's strong Bellerbred dog on both top and bottom there on the bottom side. So he's got the breeding behind him to make some noise. He's a young hound. He's going to do well if he continues on the journey that he's on right now.
Big Money, wasn't he off of Big D?
He was off of Big D.
And yeah. Big D was obviously
he was owned by Russ Beller, but he wasn't owned. He was owned by Russ Beller, and Randall Myers, and handled by Brian Whitted the year he won the World Hunt in 2009, I believe.
Yeah.
Rogersville,
Tennessee.
2009.
So this dog's
got a lot of winners in his background.
Now, I just wonder, is there any connection looking at his top side and the grandparents there is the Wipeout female, Wipeout Paige? Any connection there, or you know of anything?
I'd hate to make a prediction there,
Yeah.
but you would think she would go back
She
to
was somewhere
Wipeout
there.
Candy, Wipeout Zeb, Zeb again, all that bunch right there. I mean, it's just loaded with big time winners. That
Big time
pedigree.
winners for a lot of years.
Yeah.
a
That's
lot
right.
of years.
Decades,
And, yeah,
decades.
decades, and really set the pace of, they kind of come into an era where, where a lot bigger prize money was being set, and they kind of set, the dogs, top and bottom of out is dogs that really kind of set the foundation and drove the hunts to what they are today as far as
And it was
the prizes
interesting
and stuff.
that we were watching them in the video prior to turning loose, and one of you guys spoke about how Out was kind of relaxed and was controlling himself well. He was chilling, then turned around and Dustin said how mannered well he was.
Yeah.
But when you turn him loose, he's a different animal.
You
I
could
think
look at
he's-
him and tell that while he's on the leash, he's going to respect the guy that's got the other end of the leash.
Yeah.
So, we briefly mentioned, and there's a little bit of, maybe some little bit of talk out there that we're showing Ike Rainey is the owner of this dog. A short time back, a very short time back, Travis Black purchased this dog from Ike, and I guess maybe the transfer of the paperwork haven't made it through the office or whatever else, but that's why we're saying he's owned by Travis Black, and we're showing he's owned by Ike Rainey, but they made the deal a couple months back. I talked to Travis today about it.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's go to our third dog in the cast. He's the old man of the bunch, night champion, Heather Island's Wipeout Z. He's a 6-year-old Trin Walker, and he is owned by Ike Rainey, Malcolm Raines in Ocala, Florida, and handled by Oliver Wynn. We've already said Oliver is as well from Florida. So we should have a video that's going to introduce us to Z. And so here we go. Let's check out Z.
Oliver Wynn from Daytona Beach, Florida, and this is Heather Island Wipeout Z. Ike Rainey and Malcolm Raines own him, and I hunt for him, so. That's definitely a first-class place and act, and the whole hunt is just first class. It's always nice being in the final 3, so it makes the experience a little bit better, but it's definitely a well-put-on hunt. Late round, we just finally got one of them breaks. We were treating a log pile, the first one, and got it circled up. And then the axe dog, he treated a coon for 225, and I was struck for 75, and he actually got treed again, and it was a slick tree. So I put me back in the game, and I was treed about 900 yards in there, and went in there and he had a coon, and the axe dog was treed again, but he was on a circle tree. So we just got the breaks to move on. He's just always in it. He's very competitive. He just kind of hangs out in the truck in the hotel room until game time, and then he's through the country usually quick and fast with some coons. He's the all-time winningest dog, and I guess we're trying to make him a grand night now. Yeah, he's just a calm dog. He's not much on a bunch of people and a bunch of petting and all that. He's kind of just hangs out and relaxes. He knows what the game is, and he's ready to perform when needed. Yeah, I think it would just cement his history that he can win anywhere in any organization, and it'd be by far my biggest win of my career. And I'd really like to win this for Ike and Malcolm too. Put another feather in their cap.
All right. Well, now we met our third competitor, Wipeout night champion Heather Island Wipeout Z, owned by Ike Rainey, Malcolm Raines, handled by Oliver Wynn. Let's take a look at his pedigree and let's walk through it as well. So, Steve, take us there.
Well, at first glance, all I can tell you is there's a ton of winners in this dog's pedigree, and some outstanding reproducers in the breed as well. Obviously, he's off of Wipeout Z 3. I actually got to compete against Wipeout Z 3 different times. Honestly, even in our country, Z3 would come to mind, maybe a little bit more of a trailing dog, but he would still figure out how to win them casts even up north. So hunted with Wipeout Zeb again. This was many years ago when Barry Kitty was hunting him, and he went and hunted with Wipeout Z quite a bit as well. And hunting with Zeb again, and then hunting with Wipeout Z you could really see I mean, they all moved around and just could treat them coons when other dogs couldn't, it seemed like. On his bottom side, his grandpa, Lone Pine Muscleman, Stephen Lab, obviously has been breeding that stock of dogs for a long time, has had a lot of success with it. So, you know, just a ton of winners behind this dog. And it's really no accident that this dog is the all-time winning dog of all time.
I can recall a cast up at Herod, Ohio, that I was on. I don't remember what I was. Oh.
All right, we've got some updates, some footage. Here we go. Well, we know we're shining the tree. We would, I would say they found something with everybody grouped up. Well, it's kind of hard. It looks like they're writing on a scorecard. Beautiful grass there. Well, service has not been the greatest there, so we hope to get back there, guys, give you some updates. Hopefully we'll get something from the field here shortly that we can update. We know they're scoring a tree. We can tell that they're in there scoring a tree, so we might have some updates here shortly. But let's go back to your story. You were at Herod, and
yeah, I was at Herod. Maybe I was judging. I forget how that went. We were at a pro hunt and had Zeb again. Barry brought Zeb again up there, and you know, brought him from Adamsville, Tennessee, which is totally different terrain, totally different element than Herod, Ohio. Chris Allen was in the cast with Molly, and we really had a great hunt. And that night right there, and I don't think Barry won the cast with Zeb, but that night right there, I was a Wipeout fan after that. That dog put on a show on that round right there, and I think Molly went ahead and won the cast, and she looked great as well. But it was just quite a performance from Zeb again.
Can we tell who this is? I think that's Z, isn't it? Can't really. Can you guys tell? No, I think that's a Freak, ain't it? That's Freak, I think. All right, they're back to us again. If we could, we'll continue to break down the pedigree and talk about Z. I will tell you, be interested in tying it together. The dogs that we showed you today on the video of the bear trees in West Virginia, they're actually show a lot of musclemen in there. Guys bred some of those lab dogs and have brought them down there and made bear dogs out of them. So you're not only seeing them here in the TOC, but I can also show them to you in West Virginia being used on bear. They have a lot of grit. They have a lot of go there.
Well, and a lot of them had they could run a track. I guess you could be the best way to explain it. And some of them was considered gamey hounds. And them guys don't hide it. You know, they was gamey hounds, and sometimes maybe not necessarily the right game, but they was definitely gamey hounds. And I think
if they were bear hunting and they treat a bear.
Yeah, but 100%. But to your point on when you was talking about Molly, you know, and Molly was no slouch.
Yeah,
a good hound. You know what I'm saying?
So now we're moving again. I'm not sure what's
Well, we got some good footage right there. Too bad we're not in there. Is that a dog in the background?
That's what's possibly. The walking looks very good there. It looks like an awesome. You can tell they're moving. I think I can see the wood line up there. Yeah, they're nearing the wood line. So maybe you are hearing a dog, Fred.
Yeah, that's they must be rolling. I'm assuming they're hunting pasture here. Looks like there's some edge line coming up there, and That's probably just some
it's starting to look like a couple years ago, because they're where we was at a couple years ago, and it's starting to look like they're getting into the territory they want to get to.
You're actually in the same place that McGregor won it.
Yeah.
Same guy, same location. So.
Okay. So the way we're moving, I feel like we're getting tighter on some dogs here.
All right.
We wouldn't be moving that fast.
Let's go now, folks. We're going to take you to Alan, and we have an update on the score, so we'll kind of get you up to pace here. Let's go to Alan.
All right, folks. Well, hopefully I can get you up to speed a little bit. The service is a little shoddy, as you can see. But so out treed first. So put him on your scorecard for 125. 2 minutes after he was treed, Z treed in with him for 25. So the cast eventually got to them, and out was gone. So you're going to minus him his 125. They scored that tree. They found the coon right away. So you're going to plus Z, a 100 strike, and his 25 tree points. So that gives him a score of 125. In the meantime, Freak trees within 20 yards from this same tree off to the side. By the time they're done scoring this, his tree is also closed, and they went in, they score that tree. Unfortunately for Freak, that one's going to get a hickey. You're going to minus him both ways. That's a slick tree. 50 minus on strike, 125 on tree. He was recast, and before that, Z was struck back in, so strike him back in for a quarter. After they recast Freak, Z is again treed for 125. Now that's going to be pending at the moment. That's where you see them walking to Z right now. That's what you just saw on your screen. In the meantime, out is again treed way to the north of the cast, and that brings you up to speed where we are.
All right. So we got two trees. We got two trees pending. We got Freak. As your screen shows you, 175 minus. We've got out is sitting at 200 pending, 125 minus. We've got Z at 125 plus and 150 pending. So we're still getting some action.
Yeah, there's a lot of action right there. Not all of it good, but there's a lot of action right there.
So we know they're heading into. Here we go, folks.
So this would be Z.
I would assume this is Z.
Alan had told us.
Here are two dogs.
And that didn't take long.
That's Z, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you hear another dog down below there.
I believe he had said that.
Out was treed the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, out was north.
Freak was treed the other way.
No, out.
Out was treed the other way.
Yeah, we don't have Freak treed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have Freak struck in either.
Kind of hard to tell how hilly that is.
At least they're getting some good footage.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have some good footage for everyone.
Now I just wonder, it's kind of surprising here. If he's leading, it'd be interesting here to see if he's going to cut Z or if he chose to lead him into a.
I will promise you he's cutting Z. Well, I would think.
Yeah. If he scored it, well, we don't want to make any predictions, but if he did score it in there, my goodness, that's he is in the front of the bus and approaching the driver's seat for sure.
Yeah, he's leading him in, leading, because I figured he would be able to come straight off and cut.
Yeah. Look at that dog. If that's not a picture of health right there, tail up over his back, dragging his handler, ready to be recast.
He's going to cut.
He's going to cut right here. Y'all were right. So we do have a dog.
Oh, we're marching right on in. Now, would you say that was Zia barking right there, since we can hear it so clear, with your knowledge of hunting women before, Steve?
No, that when we first come on?
Right there, those last two barks right there.
No.
It looks like that turned up a little bit.
Yeah. That's about where they would have lost me right there, probably. Yeah. Well, they're running. I mean, look at them, how fast they're moving there. I couldn't keep up with
Well, I tell you, to your guys, I mean, when you guys start talking about donuts and all that in the mornings, I can understand that. And your quarterfinals and all that, so it probably would get a little tough.
They popped right back out into it, so you're going to see, seems to be a lot of pasture there, so they're probably just going to be hunting a lot of, still moving. Seems to have walked out of hearing of that dog barking or something. So they might be going to out because they said he was way north.
Yeah. Yep.
Up's north, right?
Up's north. Anytime you hold a map,
they're going up right now. So
yeah.
I got to see how my West Virginia boy's doing. Is he leading the way? He better not let Flatlanders get ahead of him up the hill.
I don't know if they asked Mike to stay behind or if that's just where his legs have got him.
I'm getting nervous now, just waiting.
Yeah. Motion sickness.
You need some of your Aruba Dramamine.
Yeah, the Dramamine, yeah. I don't need to take it, but I travel with somebody that does. How much time went by on the hunt, do you know?
Well, if they turn loose at 9:17, and it's 9:44 now, so right at 30 minutes.
Okay. We'll get an update here from Alan, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe once we score this.
One would think that they just brought Z off and scored that tree, but Rick, what do you do in this spot? What do you do? I mean, not at this point in time. I would think we talked about early in the hunt. You know, you get two raccoons underneath your belt. You know what I mean? But even in this situation, with both other dogs being
so you're asking about cutting him loose or hanging on to him?
No, I'm talking about,
like, if Z, we have Z knowing he had a tree to score. We don't know the update there, that if, depending upon what happens with Out's tree here, Z could really be in the driver's seat.
He's in the driver's seat.
He's in the driver's seat already, but that gap could be really wide here. They must be.
That's not a good thing if we're stopping to listen. It looks like they're moving on, so somebody's probably hurting or
trying
the
to
judge is
get
hurting.
points.
Yeah. Listen. Thought we could hear him, but no.
So yeah, that if it's a little bit early in the game to try to have a solid game plan to get you clear through the 2 hours. But depending on the scoring of this last tree and the one that they're going into now, then there'll be some planning, you know, some strategy trying to be figured out from Oliver and
dropping down in, we might have lost.
Yep. So,
oh, here we go. Nice looking deer shadow.
Yeah. They have been steady walking from the time they've turned loose.
And it's kind of what we suspected.
Yeah.
Kind of what we suspected.
Yep.
I didn't suspect them to be that close together right out of the truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, sometimes them dogs, you know, when you cut them loose, can strike one right there hot in front of you.
Well, that's another reason why I think maybe they might have led that far, is maybe they put them in the very best most prime place they had of that area.
It'd be interesting to know where Freak's at. And I would have a feeling Z's going to be almost behind them.
Never know.
All right, we got it. So we're still moving. Oh, Out must have really got out of pocket to get away from that.
We're not even hearing him.
Yeah, Out got out of there, didn't he?
Yeah. And he was called treed first on the first tree, and then he got there and he wasn't there. So
sometimes that can happen, you know. And just
something happened. We got a mark on the card. We don't know.
So yeah, we're back to that. We were expecting to handle Out and Z on this first tree, and we get there and Out's not there.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get an update from them. Okay, we actually do have an update from Alan, so let's see what we have.
Yeah, so from the last report, Steve Cromer, the assistant judge, went with Weed to go to Out, who is a good distance away. At that time, there was 23 minutes gone in the hunt. After that, Freak struck back in for 25 close by, and then after that, they had the started shining Z's tree, and they found another coon for Z, so plus him up. He gets another 150 plus. That's going to put him out there in the lead at 275 plus for Wipeout Z. Z is recut, and the cast that you just saw a little bit ago, they are in fact headed to Out there to score his tree. In the meantime, Z restruck again behind him for 25. And at this point, we have 29 minutes gone in the final cast. And that brings you up to speed. Back to you guys.
All right. So we kind of predicted that right on the 30 minutes gone, 29 minutes gone. Z's looking good.
Yeah. A quarter of the way into the hunt.
Treat 2 coons in 30 minutes.
Those aren't the only 2 coons in there, but it looks good for him.
Yeah,
it looks great.
And I can tell you, hunting with the Z dog, different times, what's happening here is not a shock to me. Not discrediting anything on the cast or whatever, but it's just, and I can tell you, looking at the score, the closest dog to him is 400 down. Another dog being 450, something roughly to that. That's tough to come back by, especially with dogs split out, and understanding too. Again, for those out there that are following along, as you compete and the hunt goes on, there's a $10,000 difference between second and third. So you can rest assured that that Josh and Dustin, that's in the back of their mind, is they may be down a little bit, but you're still competing, because second most certainly pays a whole lot than third, even though third pays a lot. So
the way the rules are designed, Z is now striking back in for that 25.
And everything stays at 25.
And everything stays at 25, and if he takes a minus, his minus is going to be less than any of the other minuses that were taken earlier in the night. So he's right, Oliver's right where he wants his hound to be, striking in for a quarter and being off by himself probably and getting treed, maybe scoring a tree or two before they get to him again, killing some time. He's really in the driver's seat, just the way the scores look.
Just the way they said Z is behind him for 25, so if they're going, I think they said 900 to Out deep, they got to come back around. If we have seen them walk, how long it takes.
So I wonder if that Freak's in between them, or we
haven't heard. We know he's struck.
We know he's struck.
I think we're going to go to Alan right now and have an update with Alan. He's got some information for us. So let's go, Alan.
Yeah, I do have some information. Unfortunately, it's not good, and especially for Out fans at this time. So I mentioned Stephen Cromer, the assistant, went with Weed to go to Out, and what you saw was them stopping where they were coming back, and Stephen Cromer informed the judge that Out had left the tree and was gone again. So you're going to give him another 125 hickey, so now he's sitting at 250 minus. So he's got a ways to crawl back into this one, but that's where we are at the moment. Back to you guys.
Okay. So Out is still holding 75 strike, but he's taken a couple hits for 125 each on a couple of trees. And I'm sure that's not the norm for that dog.
That's not in the game plan. That's not what got him to the final cast,
that's right.
For sure.
That's,
well, I'm going to go back to the very first tree. He was treated for 100 and a quarter. Obviously, it's not, from what we're hearing from the cast. There ended up being 2 dogs on there, and in some dogs Out being a little bit younger. We've seen it. There's no. It's just the way it is. Some dogs, when something like that will rattle them a little bit when
another dog comes in there.
Our dogs are so used to being by themselves.
Yeah.
And we've seen it many times when they get covered up a little bit. They just blow out, and it'll take them out of their game for an hour or so. I've seen it many times. And
it's intimidation. They probably got intimidated when Z got to the tree there, and And he packed his bags and went on. So.
I just know I'm glad that I'm not walking on this cask, because I bet you Outs blew even further. They got to go back to Z and then probably back to Outs.
Well, one would think, I don't know if we're going to get some video coverage, but it stopped right at that point. So one would think, you would think that they was probably, just by judging what we've seen there, probably in amongst probably where they're going to, now their dogs are split up, where they're probably going to have to stay kind of relatively in the area that they're in.
Yeah.
But we still got Z. See, no, Z's not treed yet, so
everything's struck.
Everything is struck. Nobody is treed. So now we're going to get to playing the game of who can hear. So and make sure everybody stays in pocket. We've talked about the pocket several times. I
can tell you, if I was Oliver Wynn right now, I wish for me, I'd probably, at some point, Rick, don't you think when you get to the level of hunting that we're at, is at this point in time, you'd want to take and play defense?
Defense. And
I would.
He's got to be looking at his playbook for defensive plays. You're correct on that. I think at this point right here, we're still young into the hunt. We're not even halfway there yet. But my goodness, these other guys have got a long way to dig themselves up. And Z's got a long ways to go down if he decides to go down. So
I'm pretty certain that they're gonna force him to tree before we have in the next hour and a half. Though I believe that there'll have to be a forced tree call.
Yeah. The stationary rule be applied to
him or whatever. And the stationary rule for the viewers that are saying is if a dog is if there's no dog treed and a stationary is run on a dog, at some point they'll have to make a tree call before that runs out.
Right.
And one would think that would be the only way that he would be put back on the card.
That's a very good point.
And hey, you know what? Hey, we've seen it in these hunts. It can flip pretty quick, but there is 3 dogs versus 2, so it's one of them nights.
Yeah. The one thing that Oliver would want to keep in his head as well is that we need to hear all the dogs. If you're handling Z, you need to stay within hearing of all the dogs, because last night we called timeout on a cat. The judge got to a point where he couldn't judge any of the 2 dogs, I guess it was. And so right now you want to be able to hear all the dogs if you're Oliver Wynn, but you don't necessarily need any kind of action out of them.
Right. Let me kind of share some information with you, some work that I gathered up today. We heard in our
hold on.
Oh, my lands.
Gathered up work today, and you got up at what time?
I got up at 1 o'clock.
Okay. So that gives you like 30 minutes to gather up some stuff.
Well,
you act like you gathered up a lot
It don't take me long to work. I didn't take a nap today. You watched Ohio State football today.
They won the game today.
But they played themselves.
Well, that's several years in a row that they've won this game.
You have to understand, Jamie. Rick is kind of used to that now. When he wins wins hunts nowadays, it's usually because he's hunting by himself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So who was you cheering against today? Ohio State.
Here's the one thing that, and you guys forget about the meeting that we had earlier in the week, and I haven't forgotten it. We had a little spiel there, and we all agreed that we would treat each other with respect, that we wouldn't be jabbing and punching like you guys normally do at these events when we're on live feed like that. And I have to say that I got a lot of feedback of how well I've conducted myself, of not picking on either one of you.
I'd love to have proof. I'd love to have proof.
Oh, I got.
You can't get your phone out.
Hold on.
I'm sure.
No.
Can we go live?
No.
Can we go
here? There's the text right there. Look at the text right there. Rick, you're doing a great job.
The only thing I see is your wife text you.
Huh?
Your wife text you.
My wife watches too.
I understand that, but I don't see anybody significant.
Can we go live and let Alan see that you have your phone out?
Well, yeah, but most of them from the family did text me and say what a great job you're doing. Why do they continue to bring these guys back?
J. Paul's coming back next year for you. That's all I can. All right, can I do what I was going to say?
Okay, yeah, you've got 30 minutes worth of work completed today.
Please.
So go ahead.
Please, okay?
Yeah, show us what you've done.
Thank you. While you was taking a nap, all right? So I even called you to go to lunch today.
Did I mention that they won the game today?
Yes, you did. Did I mention they were playing themselves?
No, that's true.
Okay. All right. In the interviews of the handlers, each of these guys, Oliver, Dustin, and Josh, all 3 was talking about how well of a run event, what it would mean to win. We seen yesterday the venue, the setup, the effort that the United Kennel Club puts into this, the prize package, and this hunt is relatively new. It's not it's not a hunt that's been around. Yeah. If we're sitting in Illinois in a few months at the World Hunt, we could trace history back many years and talk about the places and the locations of the World Hunt and the dogs that have won it. But we pulled some numbers today. I should rephrase myself. Actually, Trevor worked. I just wrote it down.
There
okay,
you go.
So that's
we knew the truth would come out sooner or later.
So I'm gonna share
takes a while to get to the top.
Would you just mute his mic for just a minute, okay? The first year, there was only 64 dogs advanced to this round. Okay, so in 2021 we had 1,028 dogs qualified, and to qualify you have to win 5 casts in the previous year to qualify for this hunt. So there was 1,028, 655 dogs hunted, and 64 dogs advanced here to Greencastle. The finals have been here in Greencastle every year since the beginning of this hunt. In 2022. There was 1,336 dogs qualified, 796 entered and hunted at the different regions across the country. Again, that's where we began in 2022, the 96 finalists that came. 2023, 1,333 competed or qualified, 804 hunted in the regions. And again, we know that the advancement. This year, we know that the exact number was 1,404. 1,404 dogs qualified, 5 cast wins to get to qualified, and 850 hunted. So this hunt is really seeing the trajectory of becoming prestigious. I shouldn't say becoming prestigious, it's already there, but you're seeing that other people are buying into this event. Folks that maybe hunt other registries at times, but they're still getting their dogs qualified, they're coming, they're being here. And so I thought that was interesting to see, but it also speaks volumes of the Greencastle area, people enjoying coming here to hunt, the venue. Just what do you guys think in reference to those numbers? Where do you see it going? Just give your thoughts and opinions on this. And I got a bit more information of me working today. I'll show you at the end of while you were out. I'm not sure what you were doing, Rick, while I was working, but anyhow.
Well, I think that I really think in the near future, I think that we'll see this hunt grow to over 1,000 entries. I really do. I mean, I think that I think we had touched earlier on this. We've already seen what I feel like. If you look in our circle of people that hunt, the dogs of all the dogs that are winning today, I'm going to say at over 90% of the dogs that are consistently winning was here, or competed. And had the 5 cast wins. We follow this stuff on social media, and it gets posted a lot. It's a big deal when these guys get their 5 cast wins.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you see it all the time.
You see it all the time, and it's awesome because on the 5 cast wins, what's awesome about it is most of them guys are supporting their local clubs.
That's right.
Which is obviously if we don't have the local club support, we don't have these hunts. And so that's really pretty awesome, and the numbers have picked up in a lot of these local events.
That even shows what we talked about last night: the importance of the local club and the importance of guys and gals being out there making the clubs possible, so that you can get these 5 cast wins.
Right. We did we add LaGrange last year? Was that the first year for LaGrange? I believe
that was the first year for LaGrange.
So we've added another regional to the event with the growth.
And one would imagine.
And that was really because Doug was tired of dealing with you. That's the reason why they done that. They had LaGrange.
Well,
I'm joking.
No,
I don't want people to think numbers were down, but that's.
No, honestly, and I think we'll continue to add a region here and there, just simply because, putting it a little bit easier for a host club to put the dogs in the woods. Not that you can't. it's a little easier for them to do it. But I think you're going to see the entries simply increase. And with that, you know, what's awesome about it, we obviously know as that grows, you know, in time you'll see this hunt. You know, right now I know that UKC hosts a hunt every year called Autumn Oaks. I mean, it's been Autumn Oaks is I don't know how many years, but it's got to be, if it's 50 years maybe, that Autumn Oaks has been running, and there's a lot of years that hunt draws 800 to 900, 950 entries or whatever. They normally hunt around 850 dogs, and you know, it's a testament of the prestige that it is getting to win this hunt. Yeah. When you're competing against 850 dogs coming out of a region, that is tough. And we have other hunts that they may hunt 1,200 entries. And that kind of thing, or 1,400 or whatever. But most of them entries are the same dogs. You see what I'm saying? Right. I would venture to say that right now, that this year, with it being 850 dogs, different dogs, I would say this is probably one of the largest entries of my time. Of actual different dogs that competed to win a title.
And so it's very important, if you want to speak to our viewers for just a moment. Right now is the opportunity to get ahead of this. Right now is the opportunity to get out to your local clubs, support your local clubs, go get those 5 wins right now and get yourself ready, because here's some exciting news that I can share, and I think you guys will find this exciting as well. The contract was signed today, or maybe yesterday, but talking to Trevor today, the contract was signed, and we will be coming back to Greencastle again next year.
So, outstanding.
So, see, think about that. I was working today. See that information that I found?
That's outstanding.
All right. So right now, again, just after that exciting news, we're going to go to Alan for a report.
All right, I have some more news to report. Just a little update more than anything. No score changes at the moment, but so I have a couple different things. So they had 43 minutes gone. After that, they put the 6 was running on and off, and Freak was the one that was keeping it open. Talking about the 6 minutes on strike. Now after that, they could also faintly hear Z far off in the distance, off to the east of the cast. And then after that, immediately after that, Trevor Wade tells me that it seems like Freak's track is starting to heat up a little bit again. And right after that, he also says now they can also hear out opening again on past where Freak is at. And then the next report on there is the stationary is on Freak, and he is merely 250 yards from the cast with the stationary running. So that's where we are now. So again, just the scores, total scores right now should be Freak at 175 minus, out with a total of 250 minus, and Z at 275 minus. And then I will also add to what the guys are talking about on the panel here, and I think I have some pretty accurate information in terms of entry numbers. The 50th Autumn Oaks had 1,138 entries. That was a record up to that point, but we also did break that record just several years ago, about 5 years ago, at the Winter Classic in Batesville, Mississippi, had 1,139 advanced entries.
Wow. And I just want to, Z has 275 plus, not 275 minus, and so we want to make that clear, because all of our Z fans probably just had a stroke right there when they heard Alan say 275 minus. So we want to clear.
So why is the stationary running on Freak? If you're handling, let's say we're out and we got some movement here, so maybe we're headed that way, but do you think that this second and third place is starting to play in people's minds already, or what?
Well, I mean, I would think at 50 minutes, I mean,
you're almost at halftime.
They know these dogs better than we do. I mean, at this point in time, if he's by himself, he knows another mistake is
detrimental.
Yeah. And so if you don't have any pressure, they know Oliver's not treeing Z.
Yeah.
So, for me, at that point in time, looking at the situation, I'm certainly going to let him settle in and not just jump the gun.
Yeah. Another fence. We're seeing another fence here.
So we're actually going to hear Alan come in and give us a little bit of description, so maybe some things he knows that's happening. So he's going to join us here just in a moment. Well, they found another hill.
Yeah,
You got to come back. Could you run up that hill?
I could. Not today. I could.
All right, guys, what you're actually seeing there, they're actually going to a dog treat, and it is not Freak. His stationary was removed because Out was declared treat. So Out is about 300 yards in the opposite direction of where Freak was, so that's where the guys are going right now.
All right. So this is Out's third tree, so we'll see.
And that's why you don't predict what's happening out there on the cache. Huh?
I think Alan's reprimanded us that about 20 times to not guess. But again, in this situation,
it only makes sense of what we were hearing.
100%. Well, but in Dustin's situation, if Out rolls up treat, I'm treated. You're in third.
Yeah.
What do you got to lose? At this point in time, you've got to claw yourself back in it.
Yep. And 300 yards away. I mean, that's no distance from where they're at right now.
It shouldn't take them long to get to get that. Looks like they've hit looks like a little road or coming into another. We actually might get to see a tree scored here. It looks like they got pretty good service right
More
here.
fences. Cattle fences. They've crossed 10 fences probably since they've turned loose.
Now I got news for you. We've got them up where I hunted at for a lot of years now. Yeah. These are crossable fences. A lot of them are that woven, and it can hang a dog up for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to pick up a dog.
I don't know how you know as much as you're talking. You seen that right there on camera. Everybody's seen you. Yeah. So we're 300. Now we're probably 250 yards away or something. So shortly we'll have an update on that.
I can't get barred here for hitting, can I?
I'd say you're under the authority of the master hounds at this point, even though you are one.
I hear dogs treat. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Walking down this way. Down here.
Take him down here.
So we're at Out's tree now.
He's got a good voice on him.
Got Houndy.
Yeah.
Houndy mouth. I hunted with his little brother, the one that Logan Ray and them have. I think they call him a little bit of money, I think, or something like that. He had a good mouth, Houndy mouth on him as well. That didn't take long to score that one the way it looks.
Yeah, to your point, Steve, I've hunted up there where you hunted.
I ain't saying he was looking to tree a coon up a tree, but he done been through that.
They recast him as these three trees again? Is that what we're hearing?
I don't know.
No.
He cut him, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've got another tree right here.
I think he's parked right there.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, here we're going to go to Alan. We got an update.
Yeah, okay, you see they're at the tree right there. They're going to plus him up right there. They found his coon right away, so that's what they're doing. So he's back, headed in the right direction again. He's still 50 in the hole right now, but he's going in the right direction at the moment.
I thought you were the other guy. I know your dog ain't been in here. No, that's where mine's done run. Yeah, yours was in here. I thought you were the other guy.
That's Dustin right there.
So we know he's
So
at
that
least he's recut.
Yeah, he's loosing, and that's him barking probably.
That's one of
Got me. Out.
So that This must be that bad.
Did he just tree?
I heard him struck. I think he struck.
He struck out. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to jump to conclusions here or whatever. I don't know what dog that's barking right there by him. You know what I mean? It very easily could be that he waited a minute to strike him, maybe.
Yep, that's what
hot.
I wish it was about 40 degrees.
Yes, sir. Me too.
All right, I think we're going to have an update from Alan already. Things are getting exciting.
Yeah, well, we talked about assuming things. This dog you're hearing is actually Freak. It's not out. He was merely 25 yards from out there. So that's the dog you're hearing right there.
Has he been called treed?
And he has been declared treed.
Maybe we should just analyze and let them handle.
Switch to ESPN here or something. I don't know.
We're like the
so this is what Freak did on the first turn loose. Something treed, and he treed just a few yards away. And so
we're almost like the Weather Channel. We report something that's not true. We analyze it.
Yeah.
We're probably, again, here we go, we'll assume, we're probably close to being out of here at Z, I would say.
Yeah, some good footage right there. So that's the first tree we've handed him a lot, correct?
All right, we're going to have an update from Alan. He's going to start talking to us again, give us an update.
All right, you can strike or put out back on the scorecard again. He's restruck in for a quarter while they're standing here at this tree.
They're shining. So
we got several lights in the tree, and it's just a pretty tall.
Do we have something?
And then zeroed in here. Hopefully he's got one here. Kind of keep it exciting for him.
I'd like to see if everybody's moving to one area. He's looking good. There goes Tyler.
That's belly up right there, Jamie. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but that's what they call belly. Refer to belly up on the tree.
Just on video.
Yeah.
I wish that I could see a picture of Michigan holding the national championship trophy and let you know what that is too. So
they've got like in the last 2 years.
Man, I tell you, he's got a good mouth on him. It puts me in mind of his grandmother, the old foreign female. She had a $1 million mouth on her, big mouth.
Do we have a team? It looks like we're scoring.
I got to give kudos to Mike out there with the camera. He's doing a good job.
It looks like we've scored something. I don't know. One way that Tyler's getting the dog to handle. So I'm sure we'll be getting the update here shortly. All right. So right now they're getting him through. They'll probably take the lead him a short distance and recut him. They've scored the tree. We just don't know what that update. We don't know what that is.
The other two dogs are both struck.
Yes.
Okay. So they'll get back within hearing distance.
Yeah.
Of them.
And we just assume that Out is a little closer to him than Z is.
Yes. Yeah.
And So we're kind of now moving.
So how many guys we got out there right now? We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
We must have about 10, 12 guys out there.
We're moving. We'll see what they're going to do here. They're dropping down.
I would think that he's not going to rock him too super far, and he'll recast him up to there.
So it'd be interesting.
Obviously, the way it is now, it's kind of the handler's discretion.
Yeah.
Then you go up through there, and
this could. You were talking earlier, depending upon what happened to that tree, that's going to swing. It's going to swing $10,000
at this point.
Yeah,
but
so we'll be interested to see what happens on that update.
That dog's been now. That dog has been a couple times where he's kind of, and we've seen that before. He's been in and around them other dogs, which.
Yeah, that's the first time we've handled him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first time we've handled Freak.
Yeah, he took 125 minus just by leaving a tree, but no, he was minus.
He was striking tree.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So we did. We did handle him. We just didn't
he was handling another tree relatively close.
Okay. So the same scenario right there. I mean, what you're getting to, Steve.
We did.
Something's treed and he's treed a little farther right.
We did see. So what we have right now, we've got some trees pinned. We've got a score pending on Freak that we know has been scored, but we don't know the update. And Out and Z are both at 25 strike. We're going to get an update. We're going to Allen, so we'll find out what happened to Freak.
Well, it's not good news for Freak. That's another minus tree for Freak there, so he is now sitting at a total of 325 minus. Took him off the tree. They're taking him up on top of a rise somewhere to recast him. So that's where we are. Back to you guys.
All right. And so just to kind of update there, we're probably pushing the hour mark. I would say we're at halfway point. If we turned in at 9:17, I've got 10:19, so I would say we're at an hour mark. What do you think's Oliver's thinking right now? What do you think?
He's hoping to goodness that Freak stays in it till the end.
Yeah.
At this point, one would think.
Yeah. And so it'd be interesting to see, because Dustin's not going to wait any time to get out on the card, but kind of probably plays Dustin's money a little bit different too as well, because it's 50 miles. There's a big gap now between second and third there.
Well, he's got some room to take a chance, but just looking, he's going to be struck for a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Another 150 puts him. Now things could get a little interesting.
Yeah.
Especially depending on, we don't know where Z is at. They struck him and he was way through there. So certainly with Freak taking that second tree minus, certainly probably plays more into Out's favor than it does Z's.
And I hate to admit this, but I'm hoping it was Steve that said it and not Rick, but I think it was Rick that actually said it at the beginning of the...
If it was correct, it probably was me.
If it was correct, okay. I think it was Steve. But you had said that, one of you guys had said that probably the dog that's going to win this is going to get treed on 2 coons.
And Steve said that.
And so we're looking that, that seems to be set up right now.
He was on the first one, just like we said that needs to happen, and then he treated the second one.
Yep.
So I'm looking here at the scorecards from Freak last night, trying to figure out where's this action that he's giving us here tonight, where's that coming from? And I'm not seeing it from last night. The late round last night, he had a first and first on a coon, and that was all. He was struck for 50 and time ran out on him. And then the round before that, the early round, he was called treed 4 times. He had 2 circles, a plus, and he did take 125 minus. Looks like he maybe left a tree. But these trees that we're not finding coons in with him, that's not how he got to the finals for sure. And
and the other thing is he's training close by other dogs, and that just I don't think that's from what we've seen this weekend. That's kind of probably out of the norm for him. I'm sure Josh is sitting there trying to scratch his head as well, trying to figure out, hey, but I got news for you. That's why we hunt, and that hunting this, and I believe I know Freak and Out. both are going for a 6th straight cast win tonight. I looked that up. They was both double cast winners. And we've hunted these hunts long enough, y'all. I'm telling you, it is extremely hard to win 6 casts in a row.
Yeah.
Extremely hard.
Yeah.
And what makes it so tough is dogs are like humans. Some nights you're gonna feel good and go out there and feel like getting it done. Some nights you're just where you're at. And right now, early in the game, it definitely looks like Freak is having one of them nights where it's just not his night.
Now, while we're waiting to get some information from the field, I want to take us back to where we were before things kind of got exciting there for just a moment. We were talking about the atmosphere of this hunt, the location of this hunt, the build-up, the prestige of this hunt. We want to go back and talk about some of the previous winners of the TOC. We know that this will be the 4th winner that's been crowned the Tournament of Champions winner. The inaugural winner was Bad Butch, owned by Bill Stover and handled by John Irvin. John, one of the hunted a lot against John, not handling Butch, but some other dogs, and just a class act of a handler there in Southern Ohio. Then the next year, Conor McGregor, J.R. Gray, and I was told today by Trevor that this is actually the same hunting, the same guide, the same location, the same setup that Conor McGregor's cast was at. So you're kind of seeing some similar, probably some same terrain that was there. And then last year, of course, was Hobo, owned by John Strickland and handled by Jeff Rickles. And so we just want to kind of give a past shout out to these guys that have been here, participated, and done well with those. And so all right, so we just heard that we're going back to a report, so we'll kind of have an update to see what's going on out there. We should be at halftime.
Yeah, that's right. We are right at halftime right now. Freak was recast with 58 minutes left to go in the hunt. At that point, Z was 0.75 miles from the cast, so that's a 3/4 mile, obviously. The cast made their way to kind of a little rise out in the field so they could get a better listen, kind of split the distance between dogs as they're kind of spread out a little bit at the moment. So they're listening from there, and Freak opens back up, so put him on your scorecard for 25. So that gets us up to speed. Back to you guys.
All right. So we are 58, I think you said 58 minutes remaining.
That's what he
said.
right?
Yeah, 58 minutes remaining. I'm sure for Oliver that'll be a slow 58 minutes, and for Freak and for Out, that's probably going to be a fast 58 minutes. And so we were going to be crowning our 4th Tournament of Champions winner in 58 minutes, and it's looking good for Z right now. But things could change.
All them, going back to them, obviously we was fortunate enough to be a part of them. I competed in the first TOC. I actually got to the top 16 and got beat out, and then obviously helped United Kennel Club doing this here, or commentating. But going back to them hunts, there was an awful lot of good dogs in them casts that had won a bunch that may have not won it, but placed 2nd or 3rd or whatever it may be. We come to mind Joe Manning, the Dominator dog, the year that McGregor won it. And just to give you an idea, talking of little breaks in these hunts or whatever, obviously Out that first tree kind of things fell apart a little bit. Kind of flipped the tide there. The year that McGregor won it, Dominator was treed right underneath the coon, from what we recall. And the coon, but it was not in the tree that he was on; it was above it. So just little things like that can be a little bit the difference. And then obviously the year that last year, the Hobo, he's obviously won a ton, but the Joe dog was in there and had won a ton as well. So it's this hunt has always seemed like the final cast has had some dogs that have won a ton, and again this year there's no, obviously
there's no bigger winner.
Yeah,
than Z.
So
yeah.
Be interesting to see how it plays out the rest of it. But the good thing of it is probably it tells us looking at these numbers, signing the contract, coming back to Greencastle, the zones numbers were very good. It seems like all the zones handled their numbers well. It looks like this hunt is going in the right direction. It's going to be fun next year. It's going to be an exciting time next year. And so I would just again say to you, get out there, get participating, go to a local hunt, get those 5 wins, and get yourself ready.
Don't get out there tonight because we want them watching us tonight.
Well, they're probably already there if they're out
well,
there. But
here's what I'm going to tell you too. To your point, Jamie, and it's a good point. I'm going to encourage you all. I think you had the number was what 1,400 and some dogs qualified.
1,404.
So you know, my question would be is what's keeping you from, you know, if you was one of them 1,404, I'm going to encourage you, give this hunt a shot. I mean, there's people that are, and you won't go away disappointed. You know, if for a lower level entry fee, I think it's $150 to go hunt at the regional level to get here. And if there's 850 dogs that come, that means there's roughly 450 dogs or 550, yeah. You know, 550 that didn't go to the regional level. So I'm going to encourage y'all to go out and hunt these regions. And you know, I know we had 77 first timers here this year, and you know,
here at the finals.
At the finals, yeah. 77 first timers at the finals. And so I'm going to encourage you, if you do get your 5 cast wins and you're on the fence about coming, come and enjoy it. This is we're going to look back at these hunts, the early stages, and kind of like we did back in the stages of when Autumn Oaks was first started. I really believe that. So
we also want to show all of our followers this is a good way to stay up with what's happening with United Kennel Club. Follow United Kennel Club on social media. We see Facebook, different things, like and subscribe to the YouTube channels, all of these, and make sure you hashtag dogs that do more. So this is a great way to keep up with things that's happening on happening all around with UKC, right, with these events. And I will say, I'll finish this thought just in a moment because we want to go back to Alan. We got an update, so we got some news to share. Let's go to Alan.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot other than I have a report here from Trevor that they're still on this high-rise listing for dogs. And the only one they're really hearing at the moment is Freak, that they can hear. Dustin Weed shows out to be approximately 0.68 from them. And Z is just moving on out further. He's now about 940 yards. Again, that was with 49 minutes remaining.
All right, so the time is really coming down. But I will say this to what Steve said, you know, why aren't you here? Why aren't you trying for a $150 entry fee? But also going out and getting those 5 wins, what folk need to realize and hunters need to realize is those are not just 5 wins. If you're a registered dog, those 5 wins make you night champion and you're qualified for the TOC. You go out and if you're a grand and you've already got your 8 wins past night champion to become a grand, you go out and get 5 more wins, then you can start building those wins towards the Hall of Fame. Now they do the Grand Night 2, Grand Night 3. Right. So there's opportunity there for just if we want to say titles, place another title on your dog, which just gives your dog more credit as well. So not only are you getting qualified for the TOC, but you're also earning titles on your dog. So that's
so this event here has been around for we're looking at our 4th year now. Mm-hmm. So we've actually had a little bit more than that to qualify for each one of them, but I'm trying to think of something, an event or a registry that has created a new hunt, a new format, something like that, that has boosted the value of our hounds more than this hunt right here. I mean, constantly, we mentioned it a little bit earlier tonight, but you're all the time seeing that these guys are advertising these dogs, and maybe it's just they're promoting their own dog and they have no reason that they would want to sell or anything like that. It's not a sales pitch, but they constantly mention this dog's got five TOC wins, lacks 1 win of having 5 TOC wins, and the value of our hounds has stepped it up a notch because of this event right here. Yeah. And I can't answer your question, Jamie, as to why folks get out there and get their 5 wins. We got, and don't participate. I don't know what the issue is there. It's a sizable number. If we just got half them.
And since you're the guide director for Mount Gilead, I'm assuming that's good shot. Mount Gilead would have his own. If they all come, you'll get them in the woods, right? I mean, 400 of them
you
come.
Spread them out. They wouldn't all come to ours, but if you spread them out, I'm sure that we would have and if we don't, then we create another regional,
So I just encourage you guys, get out there, get those 5 wins, get entered, and make this thing happen. You will not be sorry. This is one of the greatest venues of attending a hunt that you will ever be a part of. And we talked a lot about that last night, the facility, the hunting, the city, the area of Greencastle, just a great, great place, and you would enjoy yourself. And Steve Rick likes to make fun of it. Man, the food has been good the last 3 days. I mean, it's been.
It is top notch. I mean, it is top notch from the people that cater it in. To United Kennel Club and the job that they do on that side.
Sitting there today eating with Alan, he really loved the mashed potatoes. I mean,
Alan,
he loved. He loved the mashed potatoes, and he might talk about those mashed potatoes a little bit, but
he got a surprise when he took a bite. He predicted they were mashed potatoes.
He predicted they were mashed. So he really enjoyed but the food, man, was
it's red carpet treatment.
Yeah,
from the time you pull into the driveway, it's red carpet treatment.
The dessert yesterday was gone quick, and I actually did.
Thank you, Jesus. I got 2 pieces of that.
So that's why nobody else did. I had to scrape it up.
Yeah.
You owe me a piece, then.
Yeah.
When I come to Boutique Days in a couple of weeks, I better have a piece of that.
Yeah.
Can your wife make it?
No, she won't make it. I don't know if she can or not, but she won't make it. I can tell you that.
All right.
It's when you get here on Thursday, it's always interesting to me, and it's fun. It's fun for us.
Yeah.
We don't really have any. You can't call this pressure what we do. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's always fun getting here and Elijah Hamilton. Seeing them first time, especially young ones coming here. The young, old, whatever it may be. Ed Bates. We touched a little bit earlier, but it's always fun getting here on Thursday and seeing the crowd starting to pour in. And this is one of the few hunts where, for the most part, at 3 o'clock, starting at 3 o'clock, I mean, a lot of your dogs are checked in that first half hour, and people are here because they want to take a part of something that's this special.
And the reality, you mentioned the hunt just a few minutes ago, and you mentioned Autumn Oaks, and kind of what you're saying there, or what I'm going to kind of counter yours is the coon hunting world really is it's almost like a family. I mean, it's like a family reunion. When you go to Autumn Oaks, I mean, to me, there's no greater event with no greater atmosphere. And it's just being able to come and, I mean, just being able to work the zone and at Mount Gilead as much as I rib him and ride him. I mean, I enjoy going there and buying donuts for people. I mean, I just enjoy going there and doing that. And so it's just some of my best friends, and that's why I struggle at times when people tear down competition events. We've all got stories to where it didn't go well in the cast, but I promise you, I'm 50 years old. I have far more positive stories than what I do negative stories. And so, go ahead.
I go back to the Autumn Oaks. They used to, long time ago, they used to parade the grands in there when you used to go hunting. That's my early recollection of Autumn Oaks, and it was a sense of pride when you walked up through there with
the grand breed winners.
No, not the breed winners. This was before
that.
Before you even hunted. When they called out your cast, you would parade your grand night in there, and this was in the early '90s. And you would, when they call these casts out, you would parade your grand night champion in there to get with your cast. It was a big deal, and it puts me a lot in mind of that. Obviously, Autumn Oaks grew so big that there'd be almost impossible to do that with the satellite clubs and the draw system. They do that, but this hunt brings me back for a lot. Some of the older ones that hunted in that brings me back to that when you bring your dog down and you're showcasing your hound. A lot of times you got your family and friends with you, and it's just, I think that's what makes this hunt special in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to take a short break here. I'm going to kind of recap. We know we're less than 49 minutes left in the hunt because our last report was at 49 minutes. So, okay, we're not taking a break. I'm sorry on that. We're going to a report. Okay, so let's go to a report and let's go to Al and see what we got.
Yeah, I got a little information first before we do anything. So I've got 2 reports from Trevor. The first one was with 43 minutes remaining. He says they can now hear all the dogs fairly well, Freak still being the closest one to them. The second report with 43 minutes, or that was, I'm sorry, I don't think I had my minutes right. I think it was 41 minutes. With 43 minutes, they can finally hear Z well. Matter of fact, he is treeing. So, as the panel has already mentioned, that Oliver used the stationary to his benefit, and that's exactly what he's doing. So the stationary is running on Z right now.
Well, there you go.
So he hasn't, I wrote it down, but he hasn't been declared, but I would say it's getting ready to happen. So with the stationary running, that's going to put us, if it was a 41-minute stationary run, that's going to put us under 30 minutes. Or it's going to put us under 40 minutes when he has to make a call on Z. And depending upon how far he is, it's going to take a walk in there and it's going to eat some time.
Our last report was he was 900, so they probably creeped in there some, but they're able to hear all the dogs. So, yeah, that we'll probably get another report here shortly, and he'll be down on the paper if he stays where he's at.
Yeah, and if he's got a coon here, that's a. They call
what's the one counter they say? Turn the lights out.
Yeah, that party's over. Orzo is,
I think Orzo was talking about it last night.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. If he's got a coon here, that's going to be tough to anybody to recover from that. So 41 minutes. We know we're at least 41 minutes, probably a little less, happening out in the field. 41 minutes from crowning our next $50,000 winner, Tournament of Champions winner. And so stay with us. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be with you all the way through to this. Just if you're joining us now, I will remind you I'm Jamie Estep, Rick Stretch, Steve Burkholder, and we're going to walk you through these last 41 minutes. And right now we know we have Z treed, and so the cast is probably
stationary.
Our stationary is running on Z. I'm sorry, and so we'll be getting some reports here just in a bit. Okay, so we actually do have a report from Alan, so we'll see what's happening.
Yeah, so Trevor says that Weed is standing there, and he's been trying to reassure Oliver that it'll be just fine to get him treed and get him on the cart. But he's not buying into it too much, but he did get him persuaded a little bit. He only used 3 minutes of that 5-minute stationary time, and he has got Z treed for 125, and the cast is headed to him right now. And that is with merely, I think, 39 minutes remaining in the hunt at that time of the report. So there you go.
And Dustin moved into backup handler for Oliver, didn't he?
Switch positions there.
Dustin's playing a percentage game now. He needs a blank. He needs a blank.
He needs a blank in here, and he wanted to speed Oliver up there, and he sped him up a couple minutes probably.
But truth be known, I know he's hunted Z for a lot of years. Done a lot of winning with him. In talking to him today, I mean, I guarantee you Dustin wants to win this hunt as bad as anyone out there. But, if Z ends up winning this hunt, I don't think it's going to be, it's just going to be another heck of a title on a dog that's already.
And you would have to think Dustin knows both of these dogs like the back of his hand.
He probably knows Z better than the one he has.
Oliver shared with me, he said, I can promise you he knows the dog a whole lot better than I do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty remarkable, really. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Now, also, we're going to ignore Rick here for just a second. When I was up working today again, gathering information while you were watching Ohio State football, Trevor wanted me to mention, we had talked last night about youth nationals, and I can't remember, one of you had asked me where was it going to be, and I said Iowa. And so we're going to come back and we're going to update that just a few minutes. It's in Dowds, Iowa, and if you're not familiar with that area, I wasn't, but then Trevor said just let everybody know that it's near Troy, Iowa, and there's been a lot of major events. I think, didn't Troy host the World Hunt one year?
Man, I want to say so. Whenever did Scar win? Is that where Scar won the World Hunt out there in Iowa that year?
I'm not sure. I think they've but I know they've hosted some majors out there, and so going into some good hunting for the kids out there. It's at the fairgrounds just outside of Troy is where Trevor had said. And so anyhow, we wanted to update our viewers. Youth Nationals is going to Iowa.
What's the date on that? Sometime in July?
It's in July. It's I think the third weekend in July, if I'm not mistaken. It's in July.
With your knowledge of it, do you know, did they have to qualify for that?
No,
Or
it's just show up and hunt. It's just show up and hunt. They'll get to hunt 2 nights and show up and hunt.
And a big show on
Saturday.
Okay.
The show's a little different. That's one thing gets a little bit different. The show in years past, and I'm assuming nothing's changed with it, the show is not UKC licensed. And kids show in their age division. Okay, so all 7-year-olds, because it's basically broken down in age divisions. Okay, so all 5-year-olds would show against 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds show against 6-year-olds.
More focused on the participant, not the dog.
That's right.
Okay.
They do typically they'll do a seminar on Saturday prior to the bench show of whoever's judging. I've not heard who's judging. The lady that judged last year, I thought, done a fantastic job with, she had a dog there and she had Velcro all over this dog of showing different things and done a great job. So the kids, they get scored or they get judged on their participation, on how they handle the dog. I've seen judges even ask them questions about, so I would say to all the kids that are participating in the bench show or choosing to participate in the bench show is know your breed standards. If you're showing a Trend Walker, pay attention to breed standards. If you're showing a leopard, pay attention to leopards. And so they're showing age related there. And then the hunt is 2 divisions as well. You got your junior and your senior. And you have one set of placements, but you have junior and senior. And first place is $3,000 scholarship. Yeah. And so it's a cool win for kids. And like I told you, being a dad, it was one of our staple events that Drew and I went to. And we actually took a kid last year from West Virginia down to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and he hunted. We didn't have him in much of a dog, but he did hunt and participate. And most all the clubs do a great job for the kids. The prizes, it's just a fantastic event. So I would encourage all parents to get their kids ready and get out and go in July. And it's a great hunt. And as we said last night, I would encourage clubs to host YEP events. That would be something that get the kids involved in the Spotlight series and things. So that's have you guys hunted in the Troy, Iowa area?
I don't know if I have or not. I hunted a couple hunts up there in Iowa, but I don't remember where I went.
I'm not sure where Troy is located at. They had blue tick days out there a few years ago, and I hunted out there. It was in Iowa. Good hunting. And then they used to hold a pro hunt out there, Rick.
Yeah, that's what I went out there and I judged one year, and then I went out there and hunted one year.
And I forget the name of that, but but both places was excellent.
Yeah,
and see, I'm the same.
Yeah, I was in 2 different places at those 2 events. It wasn't the same place.
We were in Iowa and I'm not sure where either, Jed Finley has a big youth hunt out there for kids through PKC, and we drove out and Drew hunted in it for 3 nights. But I'm not sure it's where it's at. But anyhow, Troy is so Iowa was good there. I'm not sure where Jed lives at. But,
right. Well, Jed lives now in northwest Missouri, so I'm thinking is the hunt there, or is it in Iowa?
It was in Iowa the year we went.
Okay.
But
Troy's in the southeast corner of Iowa, so one would think it's probably close to where that would probably be close down to where Jed would hold his hunt at.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we were at.
And I've hunted in northern Missouri, north of La Plata and on up through there. And that's all good hunting right there, you know. And that's not probably 20, it's not very far from the southern part of Iowa, so that it's all in that same area. So it's going to be excellent hunting, I can tell you that.
Yeah, we were in good hunting. We were in good hunting there where Jed had his hunt. So the kids are going to be in great hunting there. If I could, again, I know I'm pretty passionate about the youth programs, and so I would just say to you, you will not be an investment that you do not think that's worthy. If you go and you take your kids there, you will have a great time. And so get them out there in July, and get them to youth nationals. You will enjoy that. And so now we are probably pushing. I would say we're probably 30 minutes or less, and so we're probably moving pretty close to Z's tree. So as soon as we get some reports from the field, we will let our viewers.
In the meantime, I've got probably 4 or 5 more texts. I haven't checked my phone, but I'm sure it's the similar messages that I was showing you earlier. That
from your
fans,
family, and your fans, which is your family.
So tell us what your fans told us today. I mean, what did your fans tell you today and stuff?
It was good enough where he can't repeat it, is what he's going to tell you.
But I will say one thing about, along with that meeting, and I know you remember it well. We did have a dress code brought up for the meeting, and. So we'll address that here in a little bit, but I don't think dressing like a cowboy for tonight was in the works. And I've tried to keep it kind of low key this year. I did bring some hats there that kind of intimidate you the last couple of years, but I went low key this year because of the meeting we had and things like that. And you, of course, have broke the rules again by wearing that. Where do you get that?
Well, can we get an update before we find out Steve gets his dress from?
Yeah.
Can we get an update?
Let's go back to the.
We won't forget, okay? I promise you, all right? Let's go to Alan for an update.
I don't even have a hat. But hey, the guys are, we don't have good service where they're at. They're pretty deep right now, and they're actually right close to Z. But he is treed right on the other side of a pretty healthy creek right there, and they're trying to find a place to get across. So that's the last update I have from Trevor. So they're close. They're just trying to find a place to cross, and you know how it is. Some of these creeks are pretty high right now.
All right.
So check your watch, Jamie. I mean, you wrote down the time that they started. We haven't had any breaks. Where are we at on time?
They started at 9:17, and so I've got basically 10:50 right now. So what would that put it? 27 minutes, something like that. 27 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Well,
that certainly is not to make a storyline or anything, because we're not trying to or whatever, but for all the viewers or whatever, you know what, they're obviously going to make every attempt to get across this creek to score this dog, and if they can't, obviously that would definitely throw a wrench into.
So you walk up and down it until you find a place to cross, if you can cross, and my mindset goes right back to the clock a-ticking.
It's eating time.
It's eating time up. The other handlers need Oliver to get his dog in his hands. Probably just Dustin. Probably needs to have Oliver get his dog in his hands. Get this tree scored. And for Dustin's praying for a minus tree. Oliver's wanting another coon. And so now this walking up and down this creek bank trying to get across, that helps Oliver, hurts Dustin. It's just there's so many factors out there that play into this that you can't predict. You can't train
with all the rain we got that this, we seen this happen on Thursday night. We've seen them happen on Thursday night, where they actually had to go to the point where they had to call timeout to try to gather dogs back up.
Right.
But they'll make every attempt to get across this creek to score this tree.
In the meantime, the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
And it's
the elements that you play into.
Yeah, sure.
So I think we're getting ready. I think we have another update from Alan. So maybe we have something exciting here to happen about Z. So let's get ready for that update.
Yeah, they did get across the creek, finally found a place, except for Trevor and the cameraman. They stayed on the safe side, I guess, so to speak. But Z is on a big leaning tree, he says, and they're still shining. But in the meantime, out has also been declared tree now for 125 while they're shining this tree still.
All right, so this tree will make a lot of difference right here. It could almost seal the deal, or
it could be a huge. It could be a huge.
It could be a swing right here. It could be a swing.
So he scores a coon here. Let's just. I know Alan's always on our case about prediction and what's predicting what's going on and things like that. But let's say he's known to have a raccoon more than not. So let's say we score a coon here. We get him back across the creek, back in the area that we want to hunt. Steve Burkholder, are you turning him loose?
Nope.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. We're not turning him loose. We're gonna lead that dog into out, and by that time there's only going to be a few minutes left. We're not going to give him an opportunity to make an error. Now, if we're doing that.
Yeah. Now, if it's circled, and just hypothetically, if it's circled, I'm probably going to cut back loose, simply because I want to keep that 25 strike in play.
Right.
You know what I mean? All dogs are struck for 25 at this point.
Yeah.
One would think I'd want to keep that 25
Try
strike
to get him struck back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, according to what Alan said, and again, we've all hunted. The last thing I want to do is walk into a tree in this scenario and it be a leaner.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, we've seen it happen more times than not. Some of the best in the field can get hung up on a leaner. We've seen it more than once. And to the viewers, a leaning tree is usually a tree that may lean out and it could very easily touch another one. And coon can cross out. You know what I mean? And it's hard for any dog to, catch that part of it, especially they're treed on a river. We don't know if they're right on the river, but if this is leaning over the river to the other side or whatever, it can certainly play a role in on that side of it. And
another point about a leaner is danger for the dog.
100%.
And Greg Maynard is not here this weekend because I forget how that dog. How's the name of that dog? Boys, the dog's name's Boys somehow, and he belongs to Adam Campbell and Jeremiah Roller, I believe. And he had a high score on Saturday night at Mount Gilead. Continued, I guess, pleasure hunting, I believe. And Tuesday, I believe it was, Greg sent me a video and a picture of that dog. He had fallen about 30 feet out of actually he showed me a video of the dog up in the tree, and he fell out of that tree about 30 feet. And then cut to the next picture Greg sent me. He was laying on a veterinary hospital bed that and they had tubes running in and out of him and had him shaved and all kinds of things going on. I don't know if the dog survived this or not. He survived for a day or two, I do know that. And they did some surgery on him and had to do some more surgery on him, and they were determining whether or not he would make it through that. So a leaning tree is actually pretty dangerous for us out there in the field, and none of us ever want a tree on a leaning tree if we've got a dog that might attempt to climb up that tree.
And so we should know, I'm not going to cut you off, but we should know probably when we come off of Z's tree here, we're going to be well less probably than 30 minutes. I mean, we know by my watch, we're nearing about 18, 19 minutes left. Okay. So this thing is is closing up. So
Somebody's getting ready to get put into a higher tax bracket.
yeah, somebody's getting ready
All
to
three of them, maybe all three of them. You know?
to write a check. Now I know you're showing your age a little bit because you didn't even remember about the hat. You know, you was kind of talking about Steve's attire here and stuff, and you totally forgot about it. I mean,
Well, no, I hadn't forgot about it.
you
But
hadn't
there's
forgot
not a
about
break. I mean, if you'll take a breath, some of the rest of us can get in here and say something. But if you remember, the last part of the meeting is, hey guys, let's stay with the dress code.
keep it toned down.
Keep it toned down this year, and you know, in comes Roy Rogers again, and here we are. And what pains me is this: Alan just overlooks it.
I seen him.
Alan just overlooks it.
I see
He
him and
does
Alan
it,
talking
you know.
out on the back porch
Oh,
today. Just
it's all the
them
time.
two.
It's all the time, and Alan just overlooks it. You know, Steve has his way. You know, I mean, the rules don't apply to Steve. But next time we meet, if we meet, the next time we meet,
Well,
it might be my last time, but I am going to show out on it. I can tell you that.
Well, you know, I don't know if you ever heard the phrase 10-gallon hat. The only reason that you guys ain't allowed to wear hats is because your heads are so big from doing what we do here that you'd have to have a 10-gallon hat, and they felt like they couldn't see no background with your guys' 10-gallon hats on, so they said you're going to have to stick with
When was
your
the last
traditional
time When was the last time you saw a horse in person? When was the last time you saw one? No, I like to kid you about it. You've wore a cowboy hat all your life.
All my life,
Yeah.
you know, and it's something that you know, for a long time we enjoyed. We, you know, grew up around horses, obviously, with my background, and then had a horse trailer for years, and did a lot of would be gone for a week or two and pull the horse trailer out and rode a lot down around Shawnee. Down around southern Illinois there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Matter of fact, the year that we got country, and we had actually went down there a week and a half before that and rode all around Shawnee, and then went over and hunted the World Hunt and ended up getting, I think, the top 19 or whatever it was.
So today I got a video, speaking of Shawnee, today I get a video from the Prumers, and Keith and some other guys around there. They sponsor a mule drive with mules and carts, and they were headed to Shawnee today. Small world we live in. You bring it up, and then this, you know, I get this today, and it's 140 miles from Keith's house down to Shawnee, I believe, is how I understood the video, and they had a team of probably 8 or 9 wagons pulled by mules, and a bunch of them were headed to Shawnee, and they do it every year. So
they leave their place.
They leave around Effingham, Illinois there, and they drive them clear to Shawnee.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, we've had a lot of fun over the years on doing that. But you know, hey, I can tell you, there's a lot more full-fledged cowboys, as you could say, than what I am. You know, I mean, I've enjoyed the novelty side of it. You know, as far as putting me on the back of a bronc or
before you and Kim moved to Florida, you guys rode.
Oh yeah, we rode a lot. Yeah, we had horses. We had horses and rode for a lot of years.
So you still have horses in Florida?
No, we don't have. No, when we moved to Florida, we wanted to move. We wanted to kind of, you know, it was a lot of work. You know, when you have horses and the farm and all that, we sold the farm and moved down there, and I told Kim I'd like to be able to be in a home that she can clean in 15, 20 minutes, and I can mow the grass in a half hour, and that's, you know, for the week. And so. And
she does both.
When I'm not there, we'll leave it at that. I did get reminded of that today. No, absolutely. So it's, but you know what? I will say this: we obviously, where we live at there in Ocala, it's a horse, pretty much the horse capital world. I mean, they have their World's Equestrian Center there, and for any of you horse fanciers, it's worth your time to go down and see that once or twice. It's incredible how big that is. And when a person thinks of Florida, you would think that all that you have down there is just, you know, beaches and sand. And, you know, but it's really in the Ocala area. You can drive from where we're at an hour east, or I mean hour west, and it's all big horse farms and cattle farms and stuff, and it's really amazing some of that's through there. So absolutely.
That's interesting.
Did you ever ride horses hunting, coon hunting?
No, not maybe once or twice, just messing around, you know, but nothing,
not on a serious level.
Not on a serious level, no.
Okay. Well, we got an update, and then we'll come back and have a question for you on that. So let's take an update from Alan, and we might have some news. Alan?
Yeah, I have two different reports from Trevor. The first one was that Out was about 500 yards from Z's tree, but Z was then circle, or at first he thought it was circle, but he misunderstood. It's actually minus. Z's tree got minused, so that kind of changes the game a little bit. So that now puts Z at 125 minus, still leading the cast. Obviously, Out is in second with his pending points. He's got a score of 50 minus, and then Freak still sitting at 325 minus. Oliver Wynn has elected to keep Z on leash as they're headed to Out right now. And the last report, they were 350 yards from the tree with 15 minutes remaining.
So I'm about on time with them at time. So we're 11:02, and the cast should finish.
Does your arm ever hurt from you patting yourself on the back for being right all the time?
Well, if you would reach over and do it, I mean, can you?
So if
to clarify, I know Alan had given the report where Z is sitting at 125 plus.
Right.
I'm pretty confident. Yeah, it's 125 plus, and Out is at 50 minus, and Freak's obviously at 325 minus.
So he's not going to get scored anymore. Z's not.
Well, I mean, they was 300 yards from 15 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
They're going to have that scored, one would think, before the hunt's
over. If they score Out with nothing else treed, they'll have to recut, because if Freak would get treed, then Z could choose to lead in. But if he probably cuts Out, Z's going to have to recut.
I can guarantee if Out has a coon here, he's recutting Z when Out gets recut.
So that's that. Going back to a question that you were talking, you'd asked him, had he ever rode horses hunting? You kind of got cut off there. Have either of you rode mules hunting? I had one time, and it was very interesting.
I rode mules probably 3 or 4 times. I never enjoyed it. I don't like to ride anything that thinks for itself, and I didn't enjoy it. I'm not a good rider. I have rode horses quite a bit whenever I was younger, but I didn't enjoy 1 minute of riding the mules out there.
I was actually in Illinois where I did that, but. I actually enjoyed it. It was interesting for me, and so you've never done it.
There's no video of me riding anywhere or anything, or is that what you guys are?
I just have to laugh at the comment you made. Said you don't like to ride anything that thinks for itself.
No, I mean you're safe. You're in total control of your vehicle. There's mowers, whatever. But you get on a horse or a mule or something like that. You have no control. We need to get off of this.
There was a couple guys in West Virginia, a story that was true. They had rode into the Cranberry Glades. It's a big back area country in the county below me, and was actually coon hunting, and rode their mules in and tied them up and had to walk on into their dogs and lost their mules. They were into the next day trying to find.
And I'm going to tell you something to that point. I hunted with... a few years ago, I hunted with Randy and Morgan.
Yeah.
And this was before we had telemetry, systems that kind of get you back to your, we hunt off of a side by side, and he would hang a light. He'd hang a light on his side by side, shining, so we could get back to it. Because you'd get 200-300 yards in there and miss that thing in the woods. And he couldn't find it. And I asked him, I didn't understand it. And he said, hey, when you stumble around this woods looking for one for about 3 hours, you'll figure out how to, light the thing up so you can find it. So.
All right. Well, let's stumble over to Alan and get a report.
Hey, I don't have much other than just it's getting down to the nitty gritty, and I will tell you that Weed got his dog handled with exactly 12 minutes remaining in the hunt. So just for you guys doing all the math and all this and that and all the scenarios, 12 minutes when he got the dog handled.
Got out handled, I guess.
Yeah. So we
got out the tree when we got 12 minutes left. So we're going to shine for a minute or two, and this with the conditions.
There's going to be time left
to recast.
To recast for sure.
So they'll probably score that pretty quick.
Yeah, and I got news for you. If there's a raccoon in here, this thing has really gotten tight.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, hunting against and then dogs are dogs, but again, Weed's not the all-time money winner for not being known to just pull this type of a cast win out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he probably knows the rules better than the authors that wrote them. The rules are going through his mind right now. But it's not really going to matter when we pull off here. If we're hearing Freak in there trailing around, we're still going to be turned loose.
Going in for 25.
Going in for 25. It's going to be the tree call, if there is one, in the last few minutes of the hunt. That if there is a difference, then we'll see it. But both hounds, like you said, if this tree is plussed, both hounds are going to get recast off this thing.
Yeah. So it's going down to the wire. 12 minutes left. We're probably a little less than that with 12 minutes left, but it's going to.
I go back to that tree that Z made on a leaner. You know what I mean? That can really change again. I mean, leaners, we've seen it many times.
Engel calls them trick trees.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going pretty quick right back to the update from Alan. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, things are really changing, and they're changing for out fans. Plus him up. That puts him at 100 plus to Z's 125 plus, and they took both dogs off of there, recast them with 11 minutes remaining.
Good Lord. They scored that tree in a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, scored that tree.
This is gonna.
And we're in the state of Indiana, the coon capital of the world, and
which dog's going to get under one?
Yeah.
Which one's going to? Because both of them's going to have a motor, and so that's.
It's amazing how fast that changed.
Now let's go.
If you back up how we started 30 minutes into
yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. What do you think? What do you think Oliver's thinking now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
He's thinking to himself, how in the world? He's thinking to himself, how in the world did I just give this thing away?
Yeah. Well, you ain't giving it away yet.
You ain't give it. I mean, 100%. But I'm just saying. Never would have dreamed to get this tight. But again, hey, it's circumstances. We've all been there.
And I wonder where Freak's at. They haven't mentioned him, so I wonder if we're even hearing him or if he's just, just kind of got out of pocket himself. We know he's holding 25, but.
So I didn't ask you the scenario if and now your answer's going to be obvious now, but we weren't expecting Z to take a minus in there on that leaner. So I wonder why Oliver would have elected to lead back to there. If he just thought maybe the time, if the sound and the terrain, he thought maybe it would eat more time off.
I think you made why he elected to lead to out.
Yeah, since he took a minus.
Probably to make out catch him. I mean, we got to update. Let's go to Alan so we'll know something's happened.
Put the stationary on Z. I can't make these things up. That's what they're reporting.
Wow. So he's been called struck and the stationary's on?
He's been called struck and the stationary's running.
On Z. So Z's restruck and he's got the stationary running.
Wow.
Now,
Holy
I bet
cow.
you Z.
So
what the stationary means is he was struck quick.
They recut off that tree. They recut off that tree, and obviously the dog didn't go no distance at all and parked it. So and
like Alan says,
like,
that's about all we can say about it. But you could say, did he wheel around and go back, or did he just find something out there that he won the tree on? What's going on?
Well, and the way the rules are set up, if he went back to the same.
All right. Let's. We've got Alan already back for an update, so things are happening fast, and so Alan, take us.
Well, you were asking about Freak there. He is actually treeing about 1.2 miles from the cast, but Josh is not calling him treed. So that's where we are with Freak. But Z has now been called treed with 6 minutes left in the cast. And he's close by.
So that could swing
$20,000.
That could swing big time, coon or no coon.
Yeah.
So that will be.
Let me tell you something.
So you started to say something important, and I want to cut you there, but have you finish your thought? If he had wheeled around and went back to the same tree,
then at that point in time he would just have to clear him on the same tree.
He wouldn't have to tree him.
He wouldn't have to tree him. He'd go in and handle him and reflip him.
So clearly that's probably not the case.
Clearly that we can probably predict that's not the case here.
And I would think that at this point in time, kudos to. The guy that's handling, Josh that's handling Freak, he's out of it.
Yeah.
And he's going to let these two dogs duel it out.
Yeah.
You know, and rightfully so. You know, I mean, at this point in time, you know, that would take and bear in mind that, you know, now, it'd be kind of interesting to see, because I know there's roughly 6 minutes left to go in the hunt, so you treat him. So I would think, and again, we're just sharing, I would think in Dustin's case, he would want to get to that tree before the hunt is over, and at least to have a couple minutes to look that tree over to decide if he wants to make a call, head out, got tree.
If his dog's in there barking.
If his dog's in there barking.
So
got
right
tree.
now we don't have out struck.
Right.
Right now out is not out is not struck. But I was actually sitting here thinking the same thing you were. What was Dustin? What was going through Dustin's
I can tell
mind?
you, I've hunted with Z enough. It wouldn't shock me here one bit from hunting with him in the past. Wouldn't shock me here if his dog is sitting at a coon.
Yeah.
And we've hunted many times. They go into out street. They have a coon there. Usually where there's one, there's two. There's two.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's correct. Yep.
And it can happen that way. You know, I mean, that's just the way. And we've seen it many times.
Yeah.
I remember hunting the CHKC World in the finals. We was getting down the nitty gritty, and I was hunting country, and he'd gotten treed way through there. And we was kind of sitting at the edge of a trailer park, and they probably treated what we call a trash can coon. And we pull off, and I'm still beat. And we pull off and we walk back. Now we got to go back to where the other dog is barking at. But in the meantime, this dog is out of pocket, so we're going to walk the hunt out. We ain't got 3 minutes left to go in this hunt. And we start going back to try to get back into Heron, where the only dog that struck at this time. And luckily, the third dog in the cast opens way through there, and the guy calls him struck and treat him. I was able to recast, and he whirled around. He went right back there and fell treed right where that he had treed the coon before, and he was literally one tree over and had another coon there, and that really sealed the deal. So I share that to say this. What's kind of uncommon is when a dog, with it being Z, that tree's right there. You see what I'm saying? You know, so it's going to get interesting. It's going to get real.
The mindset of those dogs, I think, is when they recut, they want to shoot away from their handlers.
Let's go to Alan. 2 minutes, right around 2 minutes left. Let's go, Alan. What do we have?
Yeah, I have two updates. The first one was that out has been restruck with 3.5 minutes left. And my second update says Z has been handled with 2 minutes left in the hunt. And I just got another update, says out has been treed for 125 as soon as they handled Z, and he says this is getting wild.
It's going to come out of these two trees. Now listen. Now here's the thing. What's crazy about this is of course if Z has a coon in this spot, it's over.
Dustin didn't have time to think.
No,
he didn't have time to you know, there was probably no light shined in the tree to determine whether or not it might be a blank or it might have a coon, and he had zero time to think, so he's got to rely on his dog, and he called his dog for what his dog was doing. So here we are. This is probably one of the most exciting finals that I've
it's
been a part
interesting
of.
how things, like you said just a moment ago, how we thought this was going to be, almost started out in the first 30 minutes. Z was blowing everything out, and now the last 15 is here.
Yeah, and all you ask, if you get in a situation like that, when you're like this as a handler, all you ask is to have a shot at the end.
Yep.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but at least have a shot. You know what I'm saying? At least have a shot with it, you know. So I can guarantee, you know, we're in a situation that one would think that we would get an update fairly quickly, because it don't take long to score these trees.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we seen the one scored a minute ago in about a minute. Is what. So we're actually, our watches might not be exact with them. I have it under a minute. So we're bringing this thing down to a. It'd be interesting to know how far out is from Z. Probably not the greatest if he heard him treat. All right, we got a report. This could be big. What we got, Alan?
Well, it's just a little information. All I can tell you is they have a hole in the tree. There's a hole in the tree. They haven't found a coon yet, but there is a hole. And Oliver thinks he might have seen some eyeballs there, but so they're really working this tree, but it does have a hole in it. That's all I have.
No, that's quite a bit. You know,
so it seems like it's at least not going to be minus.
Yeah, he's not going to take a minus here.
But that could really play into out's favor if it's a circle going walking into out. So we'll be interested to see what's happened there. And so they're probably, I would say he's going to take the whole shine time.
Yep, sure. Yep.
And,
well, you would think.
I would say there's some thermals out right now as well, trying to find heat on that.
What are you even talking about there now? To explain to the novices about thermals and heat and.
Thermal is just a thermal imaging. It's something that we're allowed to use now to locate a coon. You can't score the coon. You have to still see the coon with your eyes, with your light, but it will glow. It will show a red. There's different settings on the thermal, but it will show it will show heat, and we're allowed to carry those now. And it just allows us to know where to look. I mean, that's the big thing. It knows where to look, and just another improvement of technology and a rule change that's going in the right direction. And so, pretty cool feature to do that.
One thing of note, just going through the scorecards here. So Out made 3 trees in the early round last night. Of course, he made 1 tree in the late round. And then he's been handled off of 2 trees tonight, and they all have a common theme. They all been plussed. So it seems to me, just by tracking of what the dog's doing, is he's awful good about having that evidence when you get here. He hasn't been handled off. He's not in the last night, both rounds, and as of tonight, hasn't been handled off of a circle tree.
Yeah.
So. Or off an empty.
Right.
Well, we should know something, because I have the hunt over, but we still got 2 trees to score, so we should know something fairly quick, and who's going to be our $50,000 winner, $50,000 coon sitting there. So hopefully we'll be getting a report from the field here pretty quick. And but I'm sure these guys are getting. So we just have it. So here we go to Alan. Get a report.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. On all 3 counts, actually have 2 trees to score. One's already now scored, and that tree is circled, actually. But here's an interesting thing about it. 2 years ago, we were in this same location hunting when Conor McGregor won the hunt. This tree that Z was on is the same exact tree that Joe Manning's Dominator dog was on, and also got circled on that night. You guys may or may not remember that, but that was also a big difference in that outcome of that one. I say a big difference in the outcome. We don't know if it's going to be here or not, but it's the same exact tree. So how ironic is that? But anyways, so they are headed to, and time did expire, so that's another one you're correct on, Jamie. But they are walking to Out's tree. He's treeing. That tree needs to be scored, and that's going to determine the outcome of this final cast.
Alan, real quick, have you got an update on how far Out was from Z?
I do not. Actually, I contacted Trevor to ask him that exact thing, and he said he was going to catch up to him and get a distance, and he said he would text it back to me, and I don't have it yet. That's exactly the reason I have my phone here waiting for it here.
Okay, so
as soon as I have that, I'll get that.
So we're not exactly sure.
It can't be too far.
That's what I was thinking, because he got him treed when they was actually standing at Z's tree, so it's probably not far. And so it's going to come down to guys, it's going to
last
come
tree of the
down
night.
Yeah.
Have we said that how many times?
Well, you know what? The way this hunt started out, and for it to come down to the end, one wouldn't have expected that 30 minutes into the hunt.
No.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I just I don't want to suspect anything like that, because there's a lot of dens, a lot of scenarios out there. But I can tell you, if I'm Oliver, I am very nervous right now, because this dog is going through, looking at what he's done all weekend. He's been getting plussed when he's been handled.
So back up to the leaner.
Yeah.
When he took a minus there, and he elected to lead all the way into Out, which wasn't too time consuming, but if you recast off that tree, that give him 5, 7 minutes, for Z to come up with something positive, and so that'll enter into the scenario here.
This den tree must be a hotel for them. It must be a common place for these coons.
I do kind of remember that, right?
I remember.
All the cast stayed on one side of the river, and they went up. They crossed the river.
I think it was after that. I think it was after that when he went into a den. They was beating on it, if you remember, tapping on it, trying to get that like that, and Connor ended up having a coon den, and then it was pretty much over from that point.
Yeah.
That can kind of be very similar, ain't it?
It don't get no more exciting than this. And, you know, Oliver's praying for no coon, and Dustin's.
I can tell you, I just, you know, I being in this situation, not being out there, but being in this situation, one would have to think that
Dustin probably feels very good.
They're going to walk in there and they're going to plus out up.
Really?
You know, that's just
and then
just the way this all unfolded. That's what I would.
And then we'll know that you picked out, right? I mean,
I'm holding firm to my stance on that. No picks for me. No picks for
me.
Man,
if I ends up winning this thing, we're going to have to listen to this from Jamie for the next year.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what they say about blind sows. Find an acorn once in a while.
Hey, I'm excited to see what happens. So I'm nervous waiting on them to get there. I'm thinking, why ain't they there? My mind's thinking, walk faster. That's what I'm.
You know, in a few minutes, we're going to focus on Marshall, Illinois.
Yeah,
you know, in a few minutes, when this is all said and done and the cameras go off, we'll be focusing on Marshall, Illinois, and how can we improve what we've done.
The good thing of it is the hunters get to enjoy this same thing because it's only an hour west of here.
Yeah.
And you're talking, I don't know the exact numbers that coons have been treed for just on the cast tonight. 1, 2, 3. We've seen 3 coons tonight. Got the opportunity to score another one. So these coming to the World Hunt is going to be right into the heart of.
We're right back in it. You know, we're right back in some of the cast will be coming right back over here hunting where some of them have hunted this weekend, and you know, we will probably dodge some high water or stuff like that. You know, because we're in September, but we're hunting in the same area.
Is being Marshall hour west of here. You hear a lot of people talk about Healy, Greencastle, kind of goes hand in hand. Do we flatten back out in Marshall, or are we still?
You're starting to flatten back out over there. Okay. Yeah, you're starting to flatten back out over there. You can go west and get over there. I forget if that's the Wabash or what that is over there, but you can go west and get in some hills where they created the river. But it's going to be a tad bit flatter there.
Okay.
Yeah, a tad bit flatter. But I know Doug mentioned at lunch yesterday, I believe it was, when we were eating, and he said that they'd be taking some cast back to Greencastle. Yeah. They'll meet at the club instead of here, but they'll be taking some here. Brazil take some, Sullivan possibly. It's a tad, it's 20% flatter.
Yeah,
I would guess.
And so, say to our viewers, that's just another encouraging thing. Get out there and go to an RQE. That's your first step in getting qualified for the World Hunt. Just hearing how good the hunting will be in Marshall, seeing the amount of coons that's treed here. But the first thing you got to do is you got to go. You got to go to an RQE, get qualified, then get your entry in. And get to a zone. Get through a zone.
Get through your zones.
I'm not exactly sure where all the zones are. No. I know the zone I'm working.
I think they've announced them.
They have. Yeah. I'm working the one in northern Ohio, Ashtabula. Does that sound right?
Okay.
Does that sound?
I didn't even know that they were having.
Is that right up on the lake?
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm working. I'm working that one. So I know. I met actually a guy that was hunting out of Mount Gilead. That's part of the club that's hosting there. So, I've never hunted in that area, so I'm assuming it's pretty good.
It's still good. Still good.
And so that's where I'm working. So I know that's where I'll be, and then we'll be coming back with you guys out into Illinois and things. So,
did you get your contract signed for Marshall, Illinois?
Well, I had to wait for you to get yours signed to see if there's anything left.
Yeah. There's still time for me to work my angle then, probably.
Exactly. I did get a text earlier, and I wanted to clarify something. We know that Z, he's one of the all-time money winners or whatever, but again, there's a lot of invitational hunts and that kind of thing. There's been a lot of dogs that have won. Echo would be one that would come to mind.
Sure.
Thinking back on that with him winning a couple of the $100,000 hunts, I'm sure he's up there pushing on that side of it too. But irregardless, there's a lot of them that are up there, and probably if you put the invitational hunts and stuff together, obviously we don't want to give people wrong information on that side of it. Either way,
but under one registry,
100%.
Under one registry, he's the leader of the pack.
Yep. And the other thing is, there's he's definitely in the conversation as one of the all-time, winners out there. So, for sure.
So they must be just marching into the tree, or they must.
I guess they must be. He must have been further than what they thought.
You got to think that they're closing in on it. I mean, good Lord, they couldn't have been too far, but they maybe those closing in on it.
Maybe those heels come into play.
Well, that could be in it. If it was me out there, we'd still be huffing and puffing. Probably.
They'd have him on a stretcher.
You'd be
on wheels.
You'd be running for $100,000. You'd be up at Hills. How many times you could go to Aruba again for $50,000?
I'd buy another week or something like that.
He'd probably go buy another 10, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you could take me and Steve with you.
Did I really look like I had a spray tan on this?
I'm just telling you what viewers have shared.
Was it a compliment or was it kind of a jab?
I'm going to leave it at 10.
I seen you yesterday, and you was glowing walking down those.
That man up in the tan.
So, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. We still got energy. Last night we were sitting here till about 6 o'clock this morning. We were all having a rough night. So.
It was certainly one of them nights last night where dogs got split up. Timeouts had to be called, and it's just the nature of the game. I seen where I think it was one of the guys that was on the cast, either judging or backup judge or guiding or whatever, was showing the sunset coming up and said it's been a long time since I hunted.
I don't know which cast it was, but Trevor said their hunt was over. It must have been one of the casts that maybe didn't hunt the full time, and he said your hunt was over in 30 minutes. You turned your card in at 7 o'clock this morning. What's going on with that?
Yeah, we got back when Drew got back. We went and ate breakfast, and it was right at daylight. Sun was up when he and I laid down. So it was interesting.
I've treated a lot of coon. You guys have too. When the sun's been up, you just hunt right on through it. And a lot of late rounds have required us to hunt when the sun was up.
Yeah.
Your raccoons still move around.
Oh, yeah.
To some extent. The sun doesn't just make them turn into vampires and run and hide. But last night we were wanting them to come in early.
I was ready to be. I was ready to be done. So that's
something I think they're going to do different tonight too. Is I think they're going to do some of the different this year than we've done in the past. Is I think they're going to do some of the award ceremony out in the woods. So that'll be kind of neat. On that side of it. So
they're going to show something. Then I think they're going to come back to the headquarters and do kind of like a private ceremony there. So our viewers will get to see. Taking place out in the field, and so it's so they have.
I heard him mention that the trophy might be awarded out there.
I think the trophy's there, and I'm not sure exactly what else. So I think there's some, but I'm kind of getting interested to see what's happening there. I wish we could
Alan
go.
took off and went and got a sandwich or something? I mean, you would think that by now we would have.
I would like to see us. I wonder what happened to our cameraman. I'd like to see us go to him. I mean, did he get wore out or something?
No.
A smart cameraman.
That's
right.
I think to the viewers or whatever they're saying is they believe that when they got to the creek that they couldn't. It was going to be too hard for them to cross. From what we're hearing, and so the camera's actually not out with the cast with the final few trees from the information that we're gathering.
Yeah, right.
But we will get a live shot of the winner, so we're going to know we will get to know live there and the folks view. So stay with us, guys. Don't. This is not the time to fall asleep, go to the bathroom, or anything. Stay with us. We should be getting an update from the field at any moment. While we're waiting, I just want to just to take just a couple minutes and say thank you to. And we don't say it enough, but to Alan and Trevor that take care of the coon hunters and over this department, the initiative, the leadership. So to Alan and Trevor, props. Thank you for what you do. And I remember the birthing of this hunt. Talking to Alan, it was almost like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? And I guess now he can say it's working. Mm-hmm. And so that's kudos to the leadership there.
They took if you recall there real quick, they took a big swing.
Oh yeah.
These hunts changed. They took a big swing on it, and it's really definitely been for the better.
It actually took 2 or 3 years to put it together.
All right, here we go. We might have a winner.
Yeah, we do have a winner, definitely. So they got to the last tree, they got it scored pretty quickly, and out had another raccoon. That puts him in the lead with 250 plus to win the hunt, the TOC. So congratulations to him. What a chain of events throughout the night here. But I want to congratulate all 3 handlers here, and what a hunt we had tonight, and just a fantastic hunt, a very exciting hunt. So I'll turn it back to the panel, let them close it out here, and I'm going to try to find out how far they have back to the trucks. The cameraman could not get his gear and everything across the creek. It was a little too much, so that's why he didn't make it on didn't get into the last 2 trees here. But he is back at the trucks waiting on them, so we're trying to figure out how far that's going to be. I think they're a good stretch from there, so I'm going to try to get that information. But for now, congratulations to the winner, and back to you guys at the panel.
Well, we were right, Jamie.
I know.
We were right.
That's who we picked.
That's who we picked.
I knew. That's who.
The bandwagon jumper. Bandwagon jumper's all I can say.
The jinx is off. I knew all along. I really.
You knew all along. You actually told me today.
I told you earlier.
I got news for you though. What an exciting finish.
There's no. I can't remember when there was one better.
Not something like this.
I can't.
This is just. It's been an exciting hunt, and hey, for Oliver and Wipeout Z fans, it's kind of a heartbreak. You would have just thought that this thing was over, the style of dog he is or whatever, and that just goes to show one bad break.
Yep.
Out caught the bad break right out of the truck, and he was able to recoup from it, but he really needed a break in the end, and he got it with the leaning tree. And you have a leaning tree like that, and then also a den. So. It's really incredible.
We have a little bit of a segment here that we want to show that to honor. It's kind of cool to honor our last year's winner before we announce and see the celebration for this year's winner. So let's go and honor Jeff Rickles and Hobo one last time as they do this. So we guys roll that.
The Tournament of Champions to me means a lot because it's something that we shoot for every year. There's a lot of work that goes into this that a lot of people don't realize. I've hunted for John and we've been friends for many, many, many years. There's a lot of hours spent on the phone and working dogs and discussing what we're going to do and how it's going to happen and hopefully what's going to happen. So he's young, he's just 3. And we won a lot with him, but it's been like 3 months worth of bad luck. Things have happened where you're right there to win something and something happened. So that makes this even sweeter that this happened now and it's such a big hunt. I'm 60 and I've been doing this since I was 9. I've won trucks, I've won Futurity Championship, Super Stakes. I've won a lot of things, but this is by far, money-wise, is the most and probably the most prestigious thing. I've not won a world hunt. I've been in the UKC World Hunt Final Four before, but so yeah, it's amazing. It probably hasn't sunk in all the way yet. It's been unbelievable. The people texting me and calling me, it's been amazing just for 2 days. Every time I win a cast, man, you're right there. You're going to win it. You're going to win it. Yeah, it means a lot. But what I do want to say about this dog is he's probably got as much or more heart than any dog I've ever hunted. You know, Mike Gilbert here, local, raised and trained him. We bought him when he was 16 months old, and he's all coon dog. I mean, that's all this dog lives, breathes, eats, sleeps. I promise you, if he don't eat or if he doesn't go hunting or something wrong, he's probably about to die because this dog has got all heart. My wife's a huge supporter. I mean, it's hard to be a coon hunter's wife when we go to a lot of hunts. I'm very fortunate to have somebody like John and Doug that I get to go anywhere I want. It doesn't matter what the entry fee is, or if I told John, hey, there's a hunt in Japan next week, he'd say go. So it's a blessing. It's been a good ride for both of us for a lot of years, and hopefully we'll keep going.
The United Kennel Club's Tournament of Champions has been brought to you by our official performance dog nutrition partner, Eukanuba. Fuel up, train hard, get after it. And by our official GPS collar partner, Dogtra. Make every dog exceptional.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
Guess what? We have a podcast. The all-new United Kennel Club podcast will not only feature great guests living the sporting dog life, but also rules and sport updates. Tune into the Hunting Ops podcasts with Alan Gingrich and Trevor Wade to hear the latest Coonhound rules and updates, Beagle rules and updates, and all breaking news about UKC Hunting Ops programs. Hear it right here first. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out.
Clayton Stark here, getting ready to take the dogs to the woods tonight using the Dogtra Pathfinder 2 GPS tracking system.
Did you know that your monthly subscription to Coonhound Bloodlines comes packed with upcoming UKC event information, official UKC event results, and articles of interest about coon hunting? It sure does. Read about the top competition hunters and hounds, as well as stories about pleasure hunting and bench show hounds. Subscribe today or renew online at shop.ukcdogs.com. Check out the United Kennel Club online store for all of our magazine subscriptions and UKC merchandise. Go to shop.ukcdogs.com and you'll find all the best gear to support your UKC lifestyle. Snag a new hat, hoodie, or t-shirt and subscribe to our many publications, including our world-leading coonhound publication, Coonhound Bloodlines. We even have research pedigrees and rule books available to purchase. Why wait? Shop now.
All right, well, welcome back to our UKC Tournament of Champions finals. My name is Jamie Eastep. I'm your host. I've been with you over the last two nights. Still yet, we have Rick Stretch and Steve Burkholder. We are, just to kind of bring everybody up to date, we know that our 2024 Tournament of Champions winner. We know that it's night champion, maxed out Mad Money owned by Travis Black, handled by Dustin Weed. What we're doing right now is we're waiting on the cast to get back to the truck. We've gotten a little bit of report that they're not that far being picked up, things of that, gathering everybody up. And then we're going to do our very best to go to the field, and you're going to see a celebration of awarding of some of the prizes there in the field. And so we're waiting on that. Until we get there, we'll just kind of hang tight with you here and finish this thing up. We're honored that you've stayed with us over the last 2 nights, and so we got a little bit more. Buckle in and stay with us. Guys, because when we have to wrap this up, we'll have to wrap it up pretty quick. Give me some thoughts. Tell me the last 2 nights. What's some thoughts that you would have, Mr. Rick?
Amount of coons scored.
Okay.
You know, we beat the venue to death here, but another great venue here. Quality of hounds.
I think it goes back to tonight. We've seen what we've seen all weekend. I mean, I know not to piggyback off of what you said, but they scored on 5 raccoons, and not any hunt of this caliber, when you can score on that many coons, that's a successful hunt. Now, it's a true testament to the guides, true testament to the hounds that are coming here. And, you know, the beauty we've always said about hunting in this area or in the Midwest, kind of whatever, is when you hunt in some areas and you get down, like some of these dogs got down, there's no shot of you getting back in the game.
Yeah.
There really isn't. I mean, it's just there's not enough game. There's not enough time to make mistakes. Here, you can, as you've seen tonight, at one point in time, in a 3-dog cast, Out was down 400 points.
Yeah.
And fought his way back in it and ends up winning it at the very end. And to put that in perspective, I think his final score was
250.
250. Okay, so and Z ended it with 125. So if you think about that, that dog was able to recover 525 points. Right. Now, don't get me wrong, he got a little help along the way in doing it. You know, I'll go back to this. It's unfortunate. We've all hunted these hunts long enough. Z is not the type of dog from when I've hunted with him that would just naturally go in there and make an empty. All dogs will make one every now and then. But, you know, a leaning tree like that is really the break that Dustin needed to get back into this thing. And then obviously he makes a den tree, you know what I mean, at the end of the hunt that still could seal the deal for him. And, you know, hey, den trees are den trees. Some of them have game in them, some of them don't. And, you know, and then I'm going to go back to Out. He won this cast by what he's done the last few nights. When they handle him off of a tree, he gets plussed. And some dogs, that's just the style of dog they are. And, you know, in talking to Dustin today, the way this dog hunts, he hunts a lot like his dad. And, you know, they tend to make good things happen for themselves. When you have that kind of hustle, that kind of drive, probably a little bit more of a bushwhacking style of dog, I guess you could say. And, you know, it's amazing to me. I don't think any of us, you know, what I'll take away from this is probably one of the most exciting finals we've had in the 4 years that we've had it. Yeah. You know, from what I see of it. So that's that there. And then just the fact that it was like this all weekend, where we've seen a lot of really good consistency. I'd kind of love to, at the end, I'm sure we'll pull some stats on, or UKC will, to really see how many have been scored throughout the whole weekend. I would venture to say it's as good as anything that we've ever had here. And hey, you know what? It's not that we haven't had good guides and didn't have good hounds the last three or 4 years. It's just the fact that the game moved all 3 nights, and that's kind of rare, Rick. We've been at these hunts. That's kind of rare for that to happen. Yep. Usually you'll get a night or two, but then you'll have a night in there that they just don't cooperate. Here we got really lucky and they cooperated all 3 nights. So.
We just got a report from the field. We're not going to be going there, but we are. Yeah, we're not going there right now, but we're getting set They're getting everybody gathered. We're getting everybody gathered up. We will be able to go there live and see the celebration, the excitement, and the presentation. So just saying that to say to our viewers, stay with us. That's going to be coming momentarily, and you will be able to see that. Prior to us going there, I just want to kind of circle back for just a moment and thank the UKC's partners. I want to mention one more time Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC. Say thank you to those guys. And I also want to mention one more time Dogtra, the official GPS collar partner, the Dogtra Pathfinder 2. Say thank you to those guys as we're waiting to go live to the field. So you know, and that's the thing. If it wasn't for people like that, we couldn't do some of these things, the events that we do. And I also want to make mention of some things, guys, that to make this possible. The production team that's here. I mean, this is top of the line to be able to do this. And so to the whole production team that is working with us, that worked with us all night last night, that keeps us directed.
Been with us for years.
Yeah, and so to those guys, props as well to be able to bring this to your living room where you're at. And so
they certainly make us look good. I can tell you that. We're very fortunate on that. And
they spend a lot of time on you guys. They do. Hey, I was impressed with Nick talking about the Dogtra stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, his technology level is through the roof on what he's wanting to get accomplished.
And something, you know, technology is not my strong suit, you know, but Drew went back today and was watching that video, and something that Nick said, you know, kind of caught his attention, and he was like, "Wow, I didn't realize this is what that it was," and so it caught his attention. So, and that's just continue to speak to the involving of the sport that we love. I mean, I can remember I was laughing last night. I didn't get to say it, and we were talking about, I think following the gear video is. Probably our first tracking system that we had was a jacket that we left. If we lost a dog, you left the jacket. You left the jacket laying up. All right, guys, you're going to meet. You're going to meet. Here we go.
Just let me know.
We may all just stand off.
Yeah.
Can we stand in this field, Mike? Get it better.
That's fine. Right here's good.
Out. I can't see you, by the way. You're gonna
Poor Trevor.
In front of your light whenever you go live or whatever.
You're already live.
Go ahead, Trevor.
All right, guys. I'm out here with the 2024 Tournament Champions winner, Mr. Dustin Reed, and his dog Out. Dustin, what a cast, man.
Yes, sir.
It's still fresh right now. What's going through your mind right now, man?
Everything. I ain't got a whole lot to say. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
It's the way it started out. I never figured it would end like this.
Yeah. So you guys were listening to the play-by-play there. Out of the truck, you struck in first.
75.
Oh, you struck in for
yes,
75,
sir.
and then you treed for 125 in there, and he ended up being gone by the time we got in there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And then Z he was treed. He had a coon. Then I got treed.
Z got treed again.
Yeah. Freak was treed, and then Z got treed, and I got treed, and well, he didn't like it either. I don't guess. I think he was in the ground. And he left out there, and Z had another coon. We come across there, finally gets treed up here, and has a coon. I get recut, and we get in here and a Z and
out right then. So right then after you, so before you treat the first coon where
yes,
you got
sir.
Plus that, you're down quite a bit right there.
Yes, I had 250 minus. Z had, I think, 275 plus.
You've hunted with both dogs a lot. Were you confident at that time?
No, sir. I'll just be honest. I was. If Freak was ready to be quit, I was ready to quit.
You was waiting on him to tap
yep.
out. Huh? Yeah.
Yep.
So, but then when you treat a coon there, does that change your mindset, or are you still? What's
it
going through your mind
did,
at
but
that time?
whenever I was looking and he was so far, I didn't think. I know that Z had to make a mistake for me to even have a chance.
Right, because he's 3/4 of a mile over that rise.
Yep.
Yeah. But then he got over on the other side of him after that drop, and we got up and finally heard Z.
Yep.
Got to stay on him, and he had to tree him down there.
Yep. See, whenever we started the station there, or when we was headed up through there, I was treed way past him, but I know we was in some hills. I knowed if we got to Z and I had to or needed to, I was going to be able to hear it. We got to him, he had a bad tree, and I was, 700 or 750 past him with a coon. We get cut back with 10 minutes left.
Just that last, all right, 10 minutes left. Z, he strikes right in front of us, trees right in front of us. Actually, same tree that Joe Manning treed on 2 years ago. I didn't know if you knew that, but
I heard somebody mention that.
But and you were able to get him treed. When you treated him, how far away was he?
0.7 or 0.68.
In what, 3 or 4 minutes?
Wow.
Seriously, treated in 3 or 4 minutes after you cut him loose. It's incredible.
Yes, sir.
And then after you see he's on a den tree, it got to be
I
blood started pumping a little bit.
Yes, sir. I felt like if I didn't have a den, I really figured I had a coon. Yeah, but you don't never know. Z was, I'd have bet he had a coon in that den tree, but it was my night, I guess.
It was a quiet walk to the last tree.
Yes, sir. I couldn't say nothing. I was lost for words going through there. 2 of my favorite dogs coming down and winning 50,000.
Hey, congratulations. We had a great hunt, man. It was an incredible, just an incredible. That last hour was incredible.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Travis, to the whole team.
Thank you.
We're going to go back to the bar now and get your awards and stuff ready for you. And man, great job.
All right, appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Well, guys, there you see him, the 2024 Tournament of Champions winner. That is maxed out Mad Money, the man. We are here. We're finished up, guys, and a new winner has been crowned, and we get to wrap this thing up. And what a 2 nights.
It's like this every year, but this weekend here, tonight, it just feels totally different.
I think you're gonna see this. This is going to, we had a really good crop. Watching do the interview there and just hearing them talk about it, and again, this dog won by doing what he's been doing. I mean, you think about it, they cut loose with 10 minutes left to go. He's got to get him treed in. And
he's got to find a coon, he's got to strike a coon, he's got to tree a coon.
And he goes 0.68.
To do it.
And I got news for you, he has to be motoring through there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And guys, this is after 3 nights of hunting, a double round last night. And, these dogs today, they're athletes. I mean, I don't think the average person understands how much of an athlete these dogs are. And, something that he shared there is he said, coming down to, in Dustin's mind, he felt like it was going to be the winner either way, because he said, it comes down to this, 2 of my favorite dogs of all time I've hunted. And he's hunted some good ones.
Yep.
He's hunted some good ones. So kudos to money, and Kevin Cable, I want to give a shout out to him. He had big money, maxed out. You know what I mean? He's had a very successful program for a lot of years. So really pretty incredible.
Yep. So guys, we got to wrap this up. I want to say on behalf of UKC, on behalf of myself, Jamie Estep, Rick Stretch, Steve Burkholder, we are excited to be able to do this every year, to bring this to you at home. My final comments, I want to encourage you to get those 5 wins, get qualified. It will be worth the effort to make this happen. Coming back to Greencastle next year, get that to an RQE, get qualified for the world, get to your zone, and Marshall, Illinois in September, just about an hour down the road. To you guys, thank you so much. This is one of the enjoyable things that I get to do. Steve, make sure we don't fall out of our chairs here. But hey, that is it from Greencastle, Indiana. And again, congratulations to night champion, maxed out Mad Money owner Travis Black, handler Dustin Weed. That's it from Greencastle. Enjoy your night.
The United Kennel Club's Tournament of Champions has been brought to you by our official performance dog nutrition partner, Eukanuba. Fuel up, train hard, get after it. And by our official GPS collar partner, Dogtra. Make every dog exceptional.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. No contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
Did you know that your monthly subscription to Coonhound Bloodlines comes packed with upcoming UKC event information, official UKC event results, and articles of interest about coon hunting? It sure does. Read about the top competition hunters and hounds, as well as stories about pleasure hunting and bench show hounds. Subscribe today or renew online at shop.ukcdogs.com. Check out the United Kennel Club online store for all of our magazine subscriptions and UKC merchandise. Go to shop.ukcdogs.com and you'll find all the best gear to support your UKC lifestyle. Snag a new hat, hoodie, or t-shirt and subscribe to our many publications, including our world-leading coonhound publication, Coonhound Bloodlines. We even have research pedigrees and rule books available to purchase. Why wait? Shop now.
Clayton Stark here, getting ready to take the dogs to the woods tonight using the Dogtra Pathfinder 2 GPS tracking system.
Guess what? We have a podcast. The all-new United Kennel Club podcast will not only feature great guests living the sporting dog life, but also rules and sport updates. Tune into the Hunting Ops podcasts with Ellen Gingrich and Trevor Wade to hear the latest Coonhound rules and updates, Beagle rules and updates, and all breaking news about UKC Hunting Ops programs. Hear it right here first. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out.